Welcome to Ames, Iowa on Senior Day. It's the Cyclones and the West Virginia Mountaineers at 8-2, a chance for their best season since joining the Big 12. And we are underway here from Ames, Iowa. West Virginia will start things off at their own 25. Aaron Goldthwait alongside Ben Lieber as we take a look at Skyler Howard, a senior now who maybe not the flashiest, Ben, but he will finish his West Virginia career as one of the most decorated quarterbacks in school history.
Well, I think you hit it right on the head. He's not the flashiest. He just does everything really, really good. He's not exceptional in one area. He's athletic, not quite, he's a little more mobile than you think. Great command of the offense. He knows exactly where to go with the football. The only thing I question is just his arm strength. He can throw the ball down the field, but sometimes it floats just a little bit underthrown, but a quality starter here for West Virginia.
Mountaineers coming off a tough loss a week ago at home in Morgantown. As Howard keeps it on the ground, it's hit hard right away, a pickup of just one. And Ben, how about we take a look at your impact players?
Well, you saw the quarterback run game right there, but a lot of it's going to come down to Justin Crawford. 331 yards rushing against OU last week. Shelton Gibson, the guy that can take the top off the defense. And then for Iowa State defensively, Jaquan Bailey, number 19. You'll see him set the edge. Big, strong, physical player. And a guy they really like is Everett Edwards, number 4, who's really come on lately. Got the start last week. Very high on his play in the back end.
Now, speaking of Crawford, on his first carry, a pickup of 10 and a first down. Howard wanting to throw, rolling, and underthrows his intended target, looking for Karan White.
And he had Karan White in the scramble drill. As he broke outside the pocket, Karan saw that, tried to get down the field, and again, Skyler Howard, not the strongest arm quarterback, especially on the move, and he underthrows Karan White there. Mountaineers,
the number 14 team in the nation in terms of total offense. On the ground to Crawford, just past the 40. Pickup of 5, so a couple of carries for Crawford, and already 15 yards as Kane Seeley, the second leading tackler, brings him down. Brings up 3rd and 5 for West Virginia, their first possession, just underway here from Ames. Crawford up to the line. Looking to pass. Has some time, pocket now collapsing, and he's brought down. Willie Harvey, the leading tackler for the Cyclones, a loss of 4.
And it was a blitz up the middle by Harvey. You'll see him right here just come streaking down into that A gap. The running back picks him up, but the coverage is good down the field. Nobody open. He gets on his feet and causes that disruption and causes that sack. So great job by Iowa State coming out early. They had a corner blitz early on in the series as well. They're coming out pressuring this West Virginia offense.
Out of bounds on the West Virginia sideline. Billy Kenny, the sophomore out of Morgantown, West Virginia. Second in the conference in punting. And the question, of course, for Iowa State, which quarterback on which drive? This 2-quarterback system for the Cyclones has paid some serious dividends for first-year head coach Matt Campbell, Jacob Park, Joe Lanning, and Jacob Park, the Georgia transfer, the primary quarterback the last 4 games. 8 touchdowns in that span. Look at things going.
Yeah, he's gotten the call the last few games, and I think Matt Campbell's looking for a little bit more balance. He's a pocket passer, not super athletic, but elusive. He's the guy that I think has provided that spark for this offense to get the run game going and the pass game.
Brings Montgomery into motion and into the backfield. Up the middle, completion, and a big play. On the first play from scrimmage, he finds Trevor Ryan.
Well, I just talked about him providing that spark. He can sit in the pocket. He's getting better each week at diagnosing, and he hits Trevor Ryan up the seam.
Gain of 26 to the air once again. A quick hitter this time. Now to Ryan once more. Flag is on the play.
And I think they're going to get 13. Dondre Daly, the receiver on the outside that was asked to block on that screen. Watch for a holding call here by number 13.
And that is exactly what it is.
And with a lot of offenses, you'll see it right there in the middle of your screen. turns the shoulders, pulls him down. It's an obvious holding call, but a lot of these offenses in college football with so much screen and so much horizontal passing game, these receivers are asked to block so much. You have to be detailed and disciplined to understand when the defender's trying to peel off of you and let go.
Makes it 1st and 20 for Park and the Cyclones. Playing their best football of the season. They've won 2 in a row, looking for the first 3-game winning streak since 1989. This one lofted and knocked away. And a double coverage looking for Alan Lazard. This is a matchup that we'll be watching all day.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Alan Lazard, their leading receiver, and rightfully so. Big 6'5" target right here in the slot. He's just going to run up the seam and kind of bend this thing back to the middle of the field. The free safety just sits and waits. Good job of coverage underneath, knowing that you have a safety across the field. Jeremy Tyler coming over and getting that pass breakup.
Tyler, a season best 6 solo tackles last Saturday in Morgantown against the Sooners. On the ground for the first time to Montgomery. Montgomery near the sticks. The start after a pickup of about 10, another flag. Kazir White with the tackle.
Well, it's thrown in the vicinity of the offensive line. Probably another holding call for Iowa State.
Brandon Cruz, our referee.
And I believe he's calling Brian Bobeck, number 61, the center, on the holding call.
Graduate transfer from Minnesota. Began his career in Columbus with Ohio State. A couple of penalties on this drive after an impressive start. Makes it 2nd and 28 for the Cyclones.
So Tom Manning, offensive coordinator, trying to come up with his best 2nd and 28 call here.
Manning in his first year. All kinds of time. A bullet, and it's caught at the 25. Able to find Akeem Butler. Just 7 catches all season for Butler, but a 39-yard touchdown catch last week against Texas Tech.
And a little bit of a crowded house in this part of the field. You get 2 different receivers converging in one spot. You didn't quite know where the ball was going, but Butler comes up and makes a key catch and actually gives him more of a manageable 3rd down.
That's a pickup of 19, makes it 3rd and 9 now. Park to throw again towards his sideline and out of bounds. Looking for Lazard.
Well, and again, you saw the special attention paid with Jeremy Tyler, number 2, the free safety coming over the top. They tried to exchange route with Lazard on the inside as the number 2 receiver. He exchanged to go to the outside. They tried to hit him on that front part of the pylon in the end zone. And Jeremy Tyler was there to kind of cause that errant throw as we see Cole Netton setting up for a field goal attempt.
This is for 41 yards. He's the most accurate kicker in Cyclone history. And this one splits right through the middle. First possession of the day for Matt Campbell and the Cyclones results in 3 points. As Netton, one of 24 seniors being celebrated today on Senior Day, has helped give the Cyclones an early 3-0 lead. Iowa State leading 3-0 early after their first drive. Glad to have you with us for FS1 College Football, sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Senior Day here in Ames, Iowa. Final game of the season for the Cyclones. Gibson and Jennings back deep. Francis, the kickoff man with an onside try, taken right around midfield by West Virginia. So a short field ahead for the Mountaineers. Glad to have you with us here in Ames. Aaron Goldschmidt alongside Ben Lieber. And Ben, there's a lot to talk about in this game. It starts with the 2-quarterback system from Iowa State. What are you looking for the most in this game?
Well, to see if they can keep the success going. They kind of started slow in the season, but with Jacob Park and Joe Lannon now at the quarterback position, Jacob's going to throw the ball over the place. Joe Lannon's going to be that red zone kind of running threat. And I also want to see how this West Virginia defense responds. They got shredded last week a little bit in the run game by OU. Iowa State not quite as prolific running the football, but a very aggressive defense. They have some big-time corners. I want to see those guys match up as well.
1st and 10 at the 49. On the ground, Crawford is already having a strong start to the day. Enters this afternoon 70 yards shy of 1,000. He picks up 6 on first down.
Well, you see the obvious negative result of attempting an onside kick. Look at the field position that West Virginia has to work with.
Back on the ground, they stick with Crawford, trying to find the edge, and he's wrapped up at the 40. His shortest gain of the day picks up 3. What do you make of this rushing by direction for West Virginia on the season?
You know, this is actually kind of a deceiving stat because, yes, a lot of things hit up the middle, but with this zone read action, a lot of times it's flowing to the left, but they'll cut it right down the middle field and actually hits in that right B gap between the right guard, Kyle Bosch, and the right tackle, Marcel Lazard. Those guys doing such a tremendous job of creating seams for the running backs.
Howard under center, gives off to Crawford, just needed a yard. Iowa State thinks he didn't get there. Once again, it was Kane Seeley, the first to meet him. Crawford entering today 5th in the nation, averaging 8 yards per carry. Did not pick up any ground. 4th and 1. Skyler Howard straight ahead.
I'm not sure he got it. He was so high when he went over the pile.
And they say he picks up just enough.
Look how high he goes over this pile and gets hit right at the sticks. Loses a lot of momentum. You got to be a lot lower to make it more definitive in those situations to kind of drive your legs and get that ball forward, but just enough for a first down for West Virginia.
First and 10 for Skyler Howard, second possession today for the Mountaineers, as Crawford gets bottled up this time.
And again, we talk about the running lanes for West Virginia. That, again, was the zone to the left. And it looks like it was going to hit in the middle of the field, but he actually wanted to cut off the right guard. It just got stuck at the line of scrimmage.
Well, no surprise, the game plan here for Dana Holgerson. Crawford 331 yards against the Sooners on just 24 carries last week. Down to the days of the air raid offense for West Virginia. They are on the ground. Quick strike this time, finding White. Nobody's going to catch him. West Virginia leads. Karan White, a touchdown catch now in each of the last 3 games. 34 yards on this touchdown strike.
Well, just a quick slant. It really was all about the timing of the pass. Right when he comes out of his break, Skyler Howard's foot hits the ground, gets the ball out, and really because it was such a quick strike, nobody on defense could readjust, put their foot in the ground and make a clean tackle. So a quick response after the botched onside kick for Iowa State.
Mike Molina on for the point after. A short field because of that onside kick. 34-yard strike to Karan White. And just like that, West Virginia on top here in Ames. Number 18, West Virginia taking the lead 7-3. Karan White, 34-yard touchdown reception. 7 plays, 49 yards. Tell us how this would happen, Ben.
Well, just look at the timing on this slant pass. Watch Skyler Howard, the quarterback. He knows exactly where he wants to go with the ball. It's all about getting the ball into Karan White, but it's right when his foot hits the ground, right at about the numbers, and he goes inside. The timing of that route is what set everything up, and that's what makes Skyler Howard so good in this offense. He doesn't do anything excellent or excel at one particular thing. It's just he's a great understanding of his receivers, of where the ball is supposed to go, and he does it with timing.
Molina boots things away. Mwangu returning their short kick. And he's wrapped up at the 30 after a return of 17. All right, Ben, how about we take a look at your 4 keys to the game today?
Well, I think it's all about ball security really for both teams. West Virginia in their losses, they've had 7 turnovers to Oklahoma State. In Oklahoma, they have to secure the football, especially on the road. And both teams, they want to live by running the ball. I know it's kind of cliche, but they're very good at doing that. So you get David Montgomery for Iowa State running the ball, a young freshman that they're so excited about from Cincinnati. He's getting better with each game. He can be a true playmaker for them. We've already kind of talked about the 331 rushing yards for West Virginia last week.
And Montgomery, 7 yards a carry 2 weeks ago in Lawrence against the Jayhawks. Park on his second drive. They hand to Montgomery, and he's met at the 30. Al-Rashid Benton, season best, 14 tackles last week against the Sooners in the mix. West Virginia, that disappointing loss in Morgantown, one of the most highly anticipated games in Morgantown in decades, but still a chance of their best season since joining the Big 12. On 2nd and 8. Down the middle, and catch made right in front of midfield. As he finds Alan Lazard. Lazard now a catch in 35 straight games. Every game he's ever played.
Lazard. Watch the shake on the break. Right there. Got Jared Harper's feet to stop, cuts it on the inside, and Park delivers.
On the run of Montgomery. Montgomery able to spin forward. Picks up 9. And our impact players when the Cyclones have the ball.
Well, you saw the guy right there, David Montgomery, young freshman that they really like, very explosive, and Alan Lazard, 6'5" target, one of the best receivers in the Big 12, if not the country. David Long, another young player that we're going to talk about throughout this game for both sides. They love his instincts, his aggressiveness as a linebacker. And Rasul Douglas, number 2 in the country in interceptions with 7. You should see a lot of Lazard and Douglas matched up on each other.
Mike Warren in the backfield this time. Cyclones leading rusher, but his role limited in recent weeks. He gets the carry here and is bottled up, not going anywhere. No gain of the play. Jared Harper, 3rd leading tackler for the Mountaineers. Of course, it was Harper last year who took over the role for Carl Joseph once he was injured.
Well, and for Iowa State, I mean, everybody's doing this running back by committee, but how nice is to have a guy like Mike Warren, who was the freshman offensive player of the year for this conference, to be your kind of backup number 2 running back.
He's in there again. On 3rd and 1. Ball is loose. And West Virginia looks like they've fallen on top of it. Justin Arndt, leading tackler for West Virginia, able to poke it free.
And they're saying this is not a fumble. I did hear a whistle. Probably a quick whistle, so we'll take a look. I don't know how that's not a fumble.
And you can see Christian Brown falling on top of it.
It was his own knee that hit the ball out of his hands. They're tending to an injured player, and I think they're going to get this straight. A lot of confusion on the field as whose ball it was.
You can see Mike Warren just talking about him, really hobbled.
This has kind of been an issue for him all season long. Just hasn't gotten healthy. Been getting better the last few weeks. We'll see once again. The fumble caused by himself with his left knee hitting the point of that football, and at some point in time tweaked something in his lower body that he's going to get looked at right now for Iowa State.
Under official review, Iowa State a 40-yard field goal on their first drive. West Virginia countering a 34-yard touchdown strike to Karan White. That is how the Mountaineers have taken an early 7-3 lead.
Now this seems like a pretty obvious call, right, to you, Aaron?
Sure seems that way. Right now we'll check in with Mike Pereira. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it is too. It is a fumble. His own knee knocks it out. But what they have to do now is reset clock because you have a change of possession. So there's some other issues that they have to correct in replay. And that's usually when you reverse something like this, that causes it to take a little longer.
All right, good to know. So maybe not just simply as clear-cut as who has the ball, but a little more that goes along with it. Of course, for Iowa State, The lack of turnovers this year has been a major storyline. 12 turnovers over the first 11 games. Second fewest in the conference. Has been a major strength.
You'll see Justin Arndt, the leading tackler for West Virginia, will get credit for this forced fumble. Christian Brown, defensive end, comes in with the fumble recovery, but you heard Mike Pereira say it looks pretty obvious that it was a fumble, and we'll get the official review right here.
And you can see this call is reversed. A fumble on the play by Warren, who was banged up on the play as well. And we apologize for the microphone issues, both on the telecast and here inside the stadium, as well as Brandon Cruz, our official. Hopefully get that worked out. That was a rare turnover for Matt Campbell and the Cyclones. That brings on Skylar Howard once again. Howard, the senior out of Fort Worth, did not receive a single Division I scholarship offer coming out of high school. Enrolled as a walk-on at Stephen F. Austin. He was moved to running back there, then went to junior college in California before being discovered by West Virginia.
And he's one of these guys, you hear a lot of players that kind of play with that chip on his shoulder, and you talk about his story where constantly overlooked, and he feels like every day he has to wake up and prove himself to somebody.
Quick hitter out to White, who is met right away, right in the jaw by Brian Peavy. A pickup of 3, but he paid the price.
Well, it's going to take tackling like that with these athletic receivers, especially Dakeil Shorts. Once he gets the ball in his hands, very tough guy to bring down.
Time for Howard, going deep, finds a man! He connects with Shelton Gibson. Gibson slow to get up.
What a strike to Shelton Gibson. Ooh, that's going to be a tough call.
Gibson, the deep threat, 6th in the nation, averaging nearly 21 yards per catch.
You know, there's enough bobble after the ball hits the ground. Right there. That may be just enough to show that he did not have possession of the football, and the ground helped him regain possession of the ball. It's okay that the ball can hit the ground, but as long as it doesn't move too much, then it's a legal catch. Now, where does that fall in the parameters of ball movement, I think is going to be the question.
Gibson hit the deck hard. Well, you can see you mentioned how much of a deep threat he is. Last year, a monster game against the Cyclones, nearly 150 yards, including a 60-yard touchdown strike. Now, once again, let's bring in Mike Pereira. Mike, what are your thoughts on this catch, or not?
Well, you know, we keep looking at it here, and you've got the left hand on the ball, and then, you know, the ball does go to the ground, but does he lose control of the ball after it hits the ground? You know, I'm with the old stands as your friend, and if they ruled it on the field as a catch, which they did, I'd be inclined to leave it as a catch.
Well, not only did he hopefully for West Virginia complete that, but in the process as well was banged up and injured on the play. They tended to him for a while. He's kind of slowly walking off the field now, but what a great individual effort. And let's not forget about the throw from Skylar Howard. What a beautiful touch throw to put that in a spot where only Shelton Gibson can go out and get it. Jamal Wiltz, number 17, one of their best corners, was in trail position. And it doesn't matter if he's right on his hip or not. The ball placement through Shelton Gibson, who is one of their fastest players, if not the fastest player on their team, to accelerate, extend, and hopefully come down with this football. What a great individual effort.
It is a catch. It stands. The ball is at the 1-yard line. And for West Virginia's sake, hopefully Gibson is okay. That's a gain of 50 yards. Of course, Russell Shell not active today. An ankle injury, just 1 carry over his last 3 games. Kennedy McCoy, freshman running back, injured his ankle on the first offensive play from scrimmage last week in Morgantown against the Sooners.
Well, and this is why this offense is so deadly, because you look at last week and you think, hey, they're going to come in here and run the ball with Justin Crawford like they did against Oklahoma, but yet they have all these weapons on the outside that can hurt you as well.
It is McCoy, the running back, gets the carry and is lassoed down right away. A loss of 2 on the play. Time, Justin Thomas started last 7 games on the defensive line for the Cyclones.
Well, they just go big personnel and they try to get Kennedy McCoy, the young freshman, in there to punch it in for a touchdown. But this is normally an area as well inside the 20 in the red zone that you'll see a lot of Skylar Howard quarterback run game.
Once again, McCoy has a seam and he barrels into the end zone. Second touchdown today for the Mountaineers.
I talked earlier just about how big and strong these guys are up front. That's Kyle Bosch and Marcel Lazard. They love to run behind those 2 guys, either on the read option to the left or directly right behind them on the right side. They do just enough to push Iowa State's front 7 off the ball and punch it in for a touchdown.
Molina caps it off 14-3. West Virginia coming to Ames and striking early. Of course, this all started on the fumble by the Cyclones and Mike Warren, who was injured on the play. And then 50 yards, a disputed catch by Shelton Gibson. Ended up standing, and then from 3 yards out, McCoy punches it in. FS1 College Football sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. 3-yard scamper from Kennedy McCoy. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. Of course, it was Shelton Gibson with a big 50-yard catch at the 1 to set things up.
And it was a beautiful 50-yard catch, full extension, and a great pass by Skylar Howard as well. So this offense for West Virginia is rolling right now.
Nwangu on the return to the 30, beats a man. Can anybody catch him? Angling to the 30. He is going all the way to the house. 97 yards. How about that for an answer?
Well, that's the best answer you can come up with. You get your track star, running back, one of the fastest guys on the field. You get a right return that's set up beautifully, and he makes one guy miss, and that's the kicker, and he's going to win that every single time. And then you saw the finish. Again, track speed, a 6'10" high jumper, explosive. He showed every bit of his athleticism on that return.
Netted with the point after. 14-10 game all of a sudden with just under 5 to play in the first quarter.
We'll just take a look. It's going to be pure speed. Look how well the blocks are set. And right there, that's the one tackle that he had to avoid. and that's the kicker. And you're going to catch a lot of heat in the room if you get tackled by the kicker in that situation. With his athleticism, straight down the hill. Look, all the hips are turned to the running lane. And he takes it to the house, and that's the answer. West Virginia had a lot of momentum. Iowa State came out after they scored a field goal. They tried the onside kick. It didn't work. Quick score by West Virginia. Another quick score off a fumble from Iowa State. And you needed to find an answer from Iowa State, and they got it in the return game.
Matt Campbell loving it his first year here at Iowa State, trying to finish the season with a 3-game winning streak. It would be their first since 1989. Third longest kick return in program history. Rich Francis, an onside attempt earlier, this time boots it deep. West Virginia will start at the 25. Right now, let's check in with Mike Hill back in Los Angeles for a game break. Mike, what's going on?
Fellas, Ohio State, Michigan, the big game goes double overtime. After a controversial spot on 4th and 1, gave the Buckeyes a first down. It's Curtis Samuel. That's your ball game. Buckeyes prevail. And what a game it was. The first overtime game in this series, 30-27. Aaron, Ben, back to you.
How about that?
Well, with all the anticipation, of course, there's going to be some sort of controversy, right? Now that everybody's going to talk about this game for the next week, whether or not that was the right spot. But again, spot or not, or controversy or not, this was going to come down to a field goal, and what a fantastic game there in the Big Ten.
Lived up to the hype, no doubt about that. Design draw for Howard, and a big gain on first down. He picks up the first. Picks up 11.
Well, this whole quarterback run game was just set up by watch Howard and the way he uses his shoulders to kind of fake the throw to the outside. That sets everything up with the linebackers on the second level, had to go flat-footed, and he takes it downhill from there.
On the ground once again. Martell Pettaway getting the carry, his first touch, picks up 4. Howard to pass. Inside of Cyclone territory, connecting with Shorts. Big 12's 6th leading receiver, held to a season low. Just 2 catches last week against Oklahoma, gains 15 this time.
Well, Shelton Gibson had that 50-yard bomb on the last series in man coverage, so Iowa State's playing a little softer right now. The receiver's doing a good job of finding those soft spots in the zone. As we see Big Willie Harvey come up and lay a big old stick on Skylar Howard. There's another young player for Iowa State, a linebacker out of Hastings, Florida, that has really come on strong, runs really well, hits extremely hard, as you just saw there.
On 2nd and 8, Pettaway remains in the backfield. And they hand off to Pettaway, ripped down by the ankles. Tremendous penetration. Kamari Kanamoya, an enormous week last week against the Red Raiders. A pick 6, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a big stop there to make it 3rd and 7.
Well, and that's how Cotton Boy can be so dangerous. You just talked about the big interception last week, but can also come down in those running lanes and get some stops near the line of scrimmage.
Howard, pocket collapses, and he's wrestled down. Another sack on Howard. It's a loss of 7.
Well, it's really going to be the inside slot blitz. It kind of throws the coverage off for West Virginia, not understanding. They do a good job of Iowa State disguising that blitz. They didn't show it. They didn't show their hand. They didn't show the coverage. So when the blitz comes and everybody rotates on defense, confuses Skylar Howard, no place to go, and Iowa State's defense comes up with a huge 3rd down stop.
Austin Thomas, the senior out of Atlanta, shaken up on the play. Timeout on the field. Will step aside from Ames. Winning 5 in a row, only losses on the road at Michigan and at USC. What a season in Boulder.
I really don't think it's a story that's talked about enough nationally, just where they've come from, where they've been. You know, when they're in the Big 12, I mean, I'm a K-State guy. I love playing in that venue and that team, and really since they went to the Pac-12, they haven't done much. Now this resurgent is such a great story there in Boulder, Colorado.
That's been remarkable. Matt Campbell in his first year, youngest Power 5 coach, just 36 years old, coming over from Toledo. Fantastic run there. How about this? Cyclones have a chance as their season ends today for their first 3-game winning streak since the end of the 1989 season. And what a week it was here in Ames last weekend. 66 points against the Red Raiders, you can see, setting program highs in numerous categories.
And they have a top 40 recruiting class already for next year, which is the highest ranked recruiting class that they've had ever here at Iowa State. And that's all because of Matt Campbell and the way that he can recruit and the energy and the passion that he has as a coach.
Once again, it's Park to lead the offense on this drive. Complete to the 20. And a first down as he finds Trevor Ryan, once again the former walk-on.
How about the athleticism from the umpire right behind the linebackers? Had to get out of the way. Did a little tuck and roll to get out of the way, but a nice opening play for Iowa State.
Everybody's on their game early on. Lazard in motion. Park with plenty of time. Aiming, knocked away. There's Rasul Douglas all over Lazard.
He was all over him. Rasul Douglas, we were told, is going to match up against their best receiver right here and right there all game long. A 6'2" corner, and Douglas all over him. Pass was telegraphed just a little bit, but he does such a good job of keeping his inside leverage. And then once he does that, he has one break to make when that ball's released.
Park on 2nd and 10. Again to throw. What a catch by Lazard. Open field ahead outside the numbers. Lazard being chased by Jeremy Tyler and taken down to the 9. Sets up 1st and goal for the Cyclones.
You live by the blitz, you die by the blitz. There they come, that 3-3 stack defense. They like to play aggressive, just a zone coverage underneath. And Lazard, the big, tall receiver that he is, they're doing a much better job lately of getting the ball high to where he can get it. And you see Jacob Park recognize it right over Jeremy Tyler. And here's the one thing that Alan Lazard needs to work on in the offseason is the breakaway speed. He has everything else. The hands, the size, the route running ability. But because he's such a big body, he's not quite as fast in the open field, and he gets run down there on a potential long-scoring touchdown reception. But nevertheless, what a great job by the offensive line and the running backs to pick up everybody on the blitz. And that one play right there puts Alan Lazard over 1,000 yards this season. Again, what a special talent. Was asked a few weeks ago whether or not as a junior he's going to declare early, go to the NFL, or stay. He says he's going to stay. He hasn't thought about it. But all indications that he would stay at this point. But it's going to be a storyline for this offense this offseason.
He came in 85 yards shy of his first career 1,000-yard season. You can see a catch in every game he's played, all 35, longest streak in school history. And he's in the top 3 in just about everything else. Gain of 67 on the play. Tyler needing some help off the field after tracking down Lazard. Now 1st and goal for Iowa State, who can take the lead. I have not seen much of David Montgomery, at least the last couple of drives. It has been all Jacob Park. We've not seen Joel Lanning, the second part of this 2-quarterback system. From the 10-yard line. Park keeps it himself, but is going nowhere. Justin Art to tackle. Now this season, Iowa State has been sensational in the red zone. You can see what they've been able to do, scoring on just over 92% of their red zone possessions. Second in the conference, 11th in the nation.
And a lot of that has to do with Joel Lanning and his new role as backup quarterback, but also big-time running back in the red zone.
Park to pass. Has time. And it's incomplete, knocked away in the back of the end zone, looking for Sam Harms, his first target today. And Kaiser White, the junior out of Pennsylvania, all over him.
Again, time to throw. Guys doing a good job up front. And you see the back arm of Kaiser. That's what the crowd was wanting, to get a flag for pass interference. But Sam Harms can't come down with that interesting target, because Sam has struggled this year catching the football. Park had a lot of time and fit it in the tight window, and he just couldn't come down with that touchdown grab.
On 3rd and goal. Park scrambling to the back of the end zone, incomplete. Had his eyes set on Dondre Daly. So it looked like a chance for the Cyclones to take the lead. They will call on Netton once again.
We'll see the coverage right here on Alazar. Usually a big-time go-to target because of his size. Not much going on, and surprisingly no Joel Lanning there in the red zone for Iowa State.
Netton from 28. Hit from 40 earlier, and this time good from 28 yards out to trim this West Virginia lead to 1. What a first quarter here at Ames on senior day, as the number 18 team of the country, West Virginia, comes to Iowa, and right now the Mountaineers hold it on by 1. Now for Iowa State, the kickoff return from Kene Nwangu for 97 yards, helping to trim the deficit. Now a 28-yard field goal by Cole Netton, his second field goal of the day, has brought Matt Campbell and the Cyclones within 1 of West Virginia. And you're surprised, and rightfully so, that we did not see Joel Lanning on that drive.
Yeah, I really was. I mean, after the 5-touchdown rushing performance last week against Texas Tech, I just really thought that you get inside that 20, and why not use one of your best weapons as the extra runner, as your big quarterback, Joel Lanning, to come in there and try to punch it in there. But obviously they chose a different route and had to settle for a field goal.
We have not seen any of Lanning so far today. Meanwhile, offensively for West Virginia, this is a pretty balanced passing attack in terms of the pass catchers. You can see here, 4 receivers, all with at least 30 grabs on the year.
Well, this is the thing that you hate to see as a defense as you're getting ready to prepare for a team like West Virginia, is they will throw the ball all around. The ball distribution by Skylar Howard, and then a lot of different type of receivers. Da'Keil Shorts is like a tough running guy, hard to bring down, and then you get guys like Shelton Gibson that are just straight fast, that can get down the field and take the top off. So variety of different skill sets, a lot of different weapons for West Virginia.
They hand to Wellman. Just 11 carries on the season. None the last 2 weeks. He picks up 2, brought down by Jaquan Bailey.
And Wellman's gotten a few more carries because Shell's injury the last few weeks. Kennedy McCoy's been banged up as well, so they're using the fullback a lot in the run game.
Back to Petaway, first down, and it's finally shoved out of bounds. The flag is down. We have not seen Justin Crawford last couple of drives. As of right now, it's a gain of 13.
Holding, offense, number 1, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's 2nd down.
On Shelton Gibson.
Well, check out the right side of your screen. That's Gibson right there, lined up against Jamal Wiltz. And once again, these receivers are asked to block a lot in college football these days, and they have to do a better job and understand when the defender tries to pull away to make the tackle, it's best just to let them go rather than get the 10-yard penalty.
Brings up 2nd and 15. Petaway trying to find the edge, and he does. Has the first down before he's bulldozed out of bounds. Kamari Cotton-Moya, but too late. It's a pickup of a dozen. And does things here at Ames in the first quarter. What a first quarter this has turned out to be. A couple of big plays on both sides as we step aside from Iowa. West Virginia on top, 14-13. Now this is a huge storyline for West Virginia. Justin Crawford, who had that monster game last weekend against Oklahoma, towel over his head, ice on his knees, and some type of a cast from the sideline as well, a brace of support, as he is not playing in this game. Howard going deep down the sideline and out of bounds, looking for Gibson, who hauled in a pass for 50 yards earlier. We've seen a lot of Martell Pettaway, who's received his first carries of the season here today. If you think about Russell Shell, dinged up with an ankle, you can see this from the timeout.
Well, and to me, that looks like just a knee brace that's shifted down to allow that ice pack to get on there. And yeah, I'm going to guess an ice pack on the knee means he's probably not going to come back in this game.
Howard avoiding pressure, dialing it up, distance, and far too over the head of his intended target, Devon Durant, in a double coverage. 3rd and 10. What a first quarter this was here from Ames. We take a look at our first quarter stats.
Well, so much through the air, and again, I think the Justin Crawford injury has a lot to do with why West Virginia is not running the ball a little bit more. But for Iowa State as well, I thought they'd come out running the ball more, but Jacob Park's done such a nice job with some big plays to keep Iowa State in this game. But
Ball start, offense, all 11 players were not set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, no need to single anyone out.
yeah, you don't want to go through all the numbers.
3rd and 15. Dana Holgerson from Mount Pleasant, Iowa, about 3 hours southeast of where we are today in Ames. On 3rd and long, they go to Pettaway. Pettaway still churning forward. Able to barrel forward, but not enough. Brings up 4th down, picks up 9.
Well, typically in these 3rd and long situations, as a defense, you're looking for screen or draw. That's their version of the draw, just the read. And right there, huge hit, but he falls on Jay Jones, number 12, and knee does not touch the ground. Allows him to pick up a few more yards, a little bit more distance for the punter, as Iowa State does a good job defensively of getting off the field.
Trevor Ryan back deep to return for the Cyclones as Kenny boots it away. Ryan from his own 9, having to give ground to try to gain ground. Big block. 30, spinning, and he's taken down at the 36-yard line.
Well, check out Josh Jawless, number 31. He's their special teams demon with the key block right there. Oh. You have to have your head on a swivel when you're chasing down those returners. What a devastating block. Does a good job of trying to keep his head out of the way. Maybe a touch high on the block. But a nice block to spring Trevor Ryan on that punt return.
Special teams making an impact early for Iowa State. Of course, a 97-yard kickoff return for a score by Nwangu earlier. It remains Jacob Park. We have not seen any of Joel Lanning yet.
They might get the quarterback on this one.
Offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Deshaunte Jones. You thought that could have been Park?
It kind of looked like he stutter stepped just a little bit before the ball was snapped. But one thing to watch out for too as well is tendency-wise for Iowa State, whenever they take Sam Harms, you'll see him up here. He's not going to do it on this play, but the tight end, when he motions back in the backfield, a lot of times it's quarterback run game.
They send Ryan in motion. Park overthrows his intended target, looking for Montgomery out of the backfield. All right, now let's go back to Los Angeles. We check in with Mike Hill for a game break. Mike?
All right, the number 1 team in the nation, of course, is Alabama, taking on Auburn. Huge rivalry, the Iron Bowl. Bama, first touchdown of the game. It's the true freshman. Jalen Hurts finds his running back, Damian Harris, out of the backfield. 17 yards, gets him 6. And Bama on top, 10-6 in the second. Aaron, Ben, back to you.
All righty, thank you, Mike. It's not often that game is as overshadowed as it has been today, this year.
Right. Well, Auburn struggled a little bit this year and not quite the team that in the matchup that Ohio State and Michigan would be.
Did not get the snap off. They call a timeout.
First charge timeout. Iowa State, timeout on the field.
A timeout on the field here from Ames, Iowa. Got a good one here between the Cyclones and the Mountaineers. Welcome back to Senior Day here in Ames, Iowa. 14-13, West Virginia, the number 18 team of the country, on top. As we take a look at the current Big 12 standings, sponsored by Sonic, the official sponsor of the Big 12 Conference. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. It'll be bedlam next week to decide the conference champion. And of course, West Virginia, their only 2 losses on what has been a fantastic campaign so far. Dana Holgorsen and the Mountaineers, their only 2 losses to those 2 schools.
To those 2 schools, and really you look at those games and they kind of shot themselves in the foot with 7 turnovers, 4 against Oklahoma and 3 against Oklahoma State. So you take away those and they could make it more of a game and compete possibly for a conference championship. But as we go back and just kind of quickly revisit that, those 2 teams are playing for the conference championship, and that's the big worry, is without going to 12 teams, is if they have the conference championship that they're going to have next year, they could play back-to-back weekends, and the last one truly being for the title.
How would you like that as a player?
I don't mind playing repeat teams, just not back-to-back on consecutive weeks.
After the carry by Montgomery, 3rd and 8. On play action. Park, a bullet, and it's caught by Butler. To the 45, moves the chains. Gains 17 on the pass play.
Well, you just said it. It was the velocity of which Park threw that got that ball to Butler. That's the reason that he made the play. He telegraphed it. He knew exactly where he was going to throw. Good coverage, but it was so fast that it got there, the defender couldn't make a play.
After the first 3rd down conversion on the afternoon by the Cyclones, they hand to Montgomery. Adam Schuler, who began the season in the 3rd down package for West Virginia, has gained playing time. Makes a stop, but after a gain of 6.
Well, and a wholesale changeout really for Iowa State skill-wise, as Lazard and a whole package of receivers come off and a new package comes on.
Park over the middle, incomplete. Looking for, this time, Trevor Ryan, who is pleading for a flag. Kaiser White on the coverage. We saw White break one up in the end zone earlier today. That brings up 3rd and 4.
Well, now we get the playmaking package back in. Lazard comes back in. Dondre Daly, number 2 receiver for them, he's back in the game as well.
Lazard, a 67-yard catch earlier today. At the bottom of your screen. Play clock was winding down.
Second charge timeout. Iowa State, timeout on the field.
Second time they've done that this drive, this quarter. Will step aside. West Virginia leading. Time to get caught up on the touchdown drives so far today in the first half. They began. Karan White, 34 yards for the touchdown strike, a touchdown in 3 consecutive games for the Mountaineers wide receiver. Then Kennedy McCoy, just 1 snap last week before injuring his ankle, a short touchdown scamper. This was anything but short. 97 yards. Kenenu Wandu able to answer right back. Iowa State's chipped in a couple of field goals as well. As the Musket and the Mountaineers have traveled here to Ames.
Let's go, Mountaineers!
And this game really has been all about just big plays. Big plays on both sides, offensively, special teams like you saw there with Nwangu on that 97-yard kickoff return. So exciting plays so far in this game. There's still a lot of game left to play.
Park gets rid of it quickly and swarmed Trevor Ryan. No gain on the play. Trying to set up the screen. Kaiser White, we said his name a lot so far here in the first half.
And this is what this 3-3 defense allows you to do, is get a lot of guys around the ball when the ball's thrown. With 3 defensive linemen, you get 1 extra guy, kind of a nickel hybrid type player, to rally to the football in some of these shorter throws. That's the reason why they run this package, especially in the Big 12, is Iowa State's not going to line up and go for it on 4th and 4.
Park looking to the sideline. Incomplete, looking for Lazard. Holgerson is fired up on the sideline of West Virginia, and it's a turnover on downs.
It's Maurice Fleming, 24, this time lined up on Alan Lazard. He draws the coverage right here in the middle of your screen. He does a good job of staying on him. He's allowed to have his hands on him in that area, and Lazard can't get off the jam and get to the outside to make that catch. So good, strong, physical play by these corners continue to show up for West Virginia.
Fleming, the Iowa transfer, 7 passes broken up on the season entering today. Remember Crawford, the lower body injury, seemingly done for the day, an ice pack on his knee as well. Petaway, who got his first carries of the season in the first quarter, is swarmed, and Kane Seeley leading the charge. No gain on the play.
Well, you got to love just the intensity of this Iowa State defense. Watch this push, creating the new line of scrimmage. Damon Tucker, 97, all year long has been a shining star for this defensive front. A lot of times playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and does it once again. But you got to love the energy and the passion at which these guys play with.
On the ground to Petaway once again. This time has some room to run. Past midfield. A flag flies across the screen as Petaway is finally tracked down and shoved out of bounds by Everett Edwards.
And I think you're going to get another holding call on the receivers. This will be the 4th holding call on both teams by the wide receivers.
A run of 35 yards. You can see the reaction by Dana Holgerson.
Holding, offense, number 6, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's 2nd down.
The senior, DeKeel Shorts Jr.
And he plays with such an aggressive style. At the bottom of your screen here, just watch him as he goes through his blocking progression. You see Cotton Moya trying to get his right arm released to get off and make the tackle. Anytime you see the blocker's arm over and around that shoulder on the backside and the jersey pull, they're going to call that flag.
Makes it 2nd and 16. Howard's done a lot of this, throwing deep, and an easy flag. Looking for Karan White, who's tripped up. Everett Edwards in the coverage, and White's a little hobbled.
You don't want to see that either. They got their feet tangled up. They're going to call pass interference on Everett Edwards. And that contact is what looks like caused Karan White to not only fall down, but now get tended to by the medical staff as he kind of limps off the field.
White with the 34-yard touchdown catch in the first quarter.
He's tending to his right ankle. And because of the feet got tripped up, he actually tripped over himself. Left foot coming across and kind of tweaking that right ankle. But that's a big blow. He's already had 1 big reception down the field in the first quarter. One of their fastest, speediest wide receivers. Again, they try to hit him over the top, trying to gain that separation with his speed. But you lose him. And now you got to go on to Shelton Gibson. DeKeel Shorts has to step up. Javon Durant, he has to step up as well. You see the injury and the pass interference once again to Karan White.
Needing a lot of time. Russell Shell out for the day. For Shell, just one carry now over the last 4 games, including today. Crawford is seemingly done. As you can see, the penalty breakdown, first defensive penalty today by either side. And now tending to White on the sideline. 1st and 10 at their own 48. The hand to Petaway inside Cyclone territory, where he's met by Iowa State's leading tackler Willie Harvey after a pickup of 4.
Well, it's those type of runs too that you're going to miss Crawford and Shell, because they do such a good job in traffic of making people miss. And I don't think Petaway has that skill set in him, a little bit more of a downhill runner. So it's a big benefit for this defense to see those guys not on the field.
Howard chucking it deep, looking towards the end zone, and this is caught for a touchdown by Marcus Sims. Only 1 catch all season for Sims, and he hauls this one in from 48 yards out for the touchdown strike.
Well, just when I say someone has to step up with Karan White going out, you see Sims just a straight 9 route, a go route on the outside, and you could not place that ball any better than Skylar Howard just did. That is 2 huge, impressive deep throws for Skylar Howard, and especially from the left hash mark all the way across the right side of the field.
Touchdown passes of 34 of 48, had the 50-yard connection to Gibson, who was tackled at the 1-yard line. 21-13 West Virginia as Molina splits the uprights. Only catch this year for Sims came back on October 1st versus Kansas State. How about this one for 48 yards? FS1 College Football sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Marcus Sims, 48 yards on the touchdown catch. His first in his career. The freshman out of Sandy Spring, Maryland. Only his 2nd catch all season. As Mike Molina getting set to kick things away. To Kene Nwangu, 97-yard return for a score. As they squib this one. Rather not see that happen again. Taken by the up man out to the 30. How impressive was this throw and catch?
Well, again, this was thrown on the left hash all the way across the field to the right, and then he drops it in a bucket into Marcus Sims's stomach. I mean, that was not only a touch accurate throw, but a powerful long throw. So as you can see just the passing by distance for Skylar Howard. A lot of deep balls. He's got a lot of weapons, a lot of speed out there, but also, again, he can throw it short. He has that decisiveness, that quick delivery to throw those balls underneath and have his guys go out and make plays as well.
And we've seen him crank up the deep ball a number of times already here in the first half. It remains Jacob Park in a quarterback. We have not seen any of Joel Lanning. Remember last week against the Red Raiders, Lanning over 170 yards on the ground and 5 rushing touchdowns as they hand to Montgomery for a pickup of 5 on first down.
And this is where Iowa State, I think, needs to stay with their run game. They're very efficient running the ball. David Montgomery is getting better and better each game. Don't panic at this stage of the game. Just keep plugging away. Pick your spots to throw, but continue to pound that rock.
Play action, finding Lazard, who's met right away. Lazard picking up the first down.
And do things like that. We talk about it all the time in football. If you can establish some sort of run game that opens up the play action pass, Lazard wins off the line of scrimmage. And it's a nice couple plays here for Iowa State.
Quick hitter out to Deshaunte Jones. Jones, the 2nd leading receiver, freshman out of Cincinnati. Finalist for Ohio's Mr. Football Award his senior year in high school. Makes it 2nd and just 1. Park last week, 14 of 18. A couple of touchdowns against Texas Tech. Into the belly of Montgomery. Changes direction, has a first down, and is knocked out of bounds. First rushing first down today as Rasul Douglas forced him outside the perimeter. Gain of 11.
Well, and just watch what David Long has to do. He's got to stay on the backside of this defense. Patient, 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 but watch the cutback. That is so quick and so deliberate. It's hard for the linebacker, even when he recognizes it, to change direction and chase down a talented running back like David Montgomery.
Again to Montgomery, who owns the longest run of the season for Iowa State of 46 yards.
And Justin Arndt, the leading tackler coming into this game, he is down on the field.
Well, offensively, we've already seen Crawford banged up. Karan White as well. Arndt, the former walk-on from West Virginia, back-to-back state championship MVPs in high school. Did not get a major college scholarship offer. Only 10 tackles last season, and this year he has been a beast for the Mountaineers.
Well, he has been a beast. I mean, you talk about just 10 tackles last year, gets his opportunity this year, and is making the best of it. I mean, he's always flying around, tenacious, aggressive type of player, and definitely wants his senior year to be special, and he's doing that right now.
Well, as they tend to Justin Arndt right now, we'll check in with Rob Stone and find out what's coming up on the State Farm Halftime Show. Rob? Yeah, a lot going on. Thank you, Rob. As Arndt is able to walk off on his own power, that's a good sign for West Virginia. You can see an undersized guy coming out of high school after an impact senior season. Lazard in motion. Pressure coming. Park escapes. He survives. And he finds a man inside the 10. Deshaunte Jones. What a great job by Park, extending the play and picking up a 25.
Not only what a great job by Park, but what a tremendous job by Deshaunte Jones of recognizing, once again, scramble coverage, a scramble situation. Breaks off his route and finds that little void up against the sidelines. And that's what's special about Jacob Park. He's not overly athletic, but he's athletic enough to kind of slide around the pocket, break some tackles, and the thing I love the most, his eyes are downfield the whole time. He's able to see Deshaunte break off his route because he's feeling pressure as opposed to seeing the pressure, and he keeps his eyes downfield and lofts that ball to Deshaunte. That's a huge creative play for Iowa State.
Jared Harper injured on the play. Senior out of Maryland.
Take a look right here, and he'll break it off right about there. His route stops, but he looks back. He sees his quarterback in trouble, and he goes up the field on the sideline and finds that little void. Again, that's where Park has really been a spark for this offense, because he does a better job than Joel Lanning of keeping his eyes down the field and keeping plays alive.
And here we see the first appearance of Joel Lanning. Last week, 5 rushing scores against Texas Tech. He keeps it. Lanning with a flag coming in, moving the pile, and Lanning bulldozes his way in. We'll see what the flag is.
Personal foul, chop block. Offense numbers 51 and 88. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Julian Good-Jones and also Justin Chandler.
Well, there they are, right there's Chandler. I mean, it's more of a trip. I see what they're seeing right there. You see Good-Jones go low, and he gauges high. If you go low and the other blocker goes high, that is a chop block, an illegal block. I think it just looked worse because he got tripped up by the feet of Good Jones. But you saw once again the strength that Joel Lanning has when he's in this area of the field. A lot of quarterback run game, such a powerful runner, an ex-wrestler in high school that just has that innate toughness.
Now Park now the quarterback. It's 1st and goal to the 20. Park to pass. Now scrambling. A bullet is taken low as Montgomery is able to drop to his side and make the catch.
And they're going to say that ball hit the ground.
It's 2nd down.
Here we have a good look at it.
Or not.
That sure was close.
Ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is under review.
Well, that one view that we had looked like arms were underneath and the ball never hit the ground. But immediately the side judge from across the field waving incomplete pass. He probably had the best look at it. I don't see at any point that the football touches the ground. Now that to me looks like a clean catch.
A good enough angle?
Well, I think that's going to be the deciding factor is there enough, because they called it incomplete. Is there enough there to show that? And I believe that there is. I believe this angle right here shows all that you need to know. Hand, arm, forearm underneath the ball, on the ground. The ball never touches the ground. I would expect that this is going to be overturned, and that's going to be a catch for David Montgomery.
We find out.
After reviewing the play, ruling on the field of an incomplete pass stands as called. It's 2nd down.
Wow. Second and goal to the 20. Seems like it's a matter of finding something to overturn that because of the camera angle.
Well, I would agree, and if I were an Iowa State fan, I would probably be booing as well in the stadium. They do not like the call, and based on the angles that we saw, obviously was not enough to overturn the incomplete call on the field.
Lazard isolated at the top of your screen. Looking the other way, catch made and tackled quickly. Andre Daly hauls it in, 3rd and goal. Don Walters applying the hit.
You know, that's really been an area expertise for West Virginia's defense. Is not only are they fast and aggressive, but they're good, sound tacklers. You see Sean Walters come up there, a one-on-one situation, goes low and makes the sure tackle and forces Iowa State in a 3rd and long situation.
3rd and goal from the 15. Park stepping up, now stepping out, throwing on the run, looking for Lazard. Wanting to flag, not getting it. Maurice Fleming on the coverage. He's done a fine job, a number of pass plays his direction already today.
And the crowd is always looking for some sort of pass interference as Lazard just trying to get open, but very clean coverage by Maurice Fleming. Once again, what a good job by Jacob Park of eluding the blitz, finding some time and trying to give Lazard a chance.
Netting from 33 yards out. The most accurate kicker in school history is 3 for 3 today. From 40, from 28, and now from 33. Cyclones on the board with 3 more, 21-16 West Virginia. weeks with the bye to think about that disappointing loss to the Eagles. Back here in Ames in the first half. Matt Campbell, first-year head coach for the Cyclones, trying to hang tight with the number 18 team of the country, West Virginia. 3 field goals and a special teams touchdown for Iowa State. The return bobbled by Gibson, trying to recover. Flag comes in, and Gibson gets out past the 25.
Flags on the play.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 38, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down, West Virginia.
All right, now let's go back to Los Angeles, check in with Mike Hill for a game break.
All right, fellas, number 7, Penn State and Michigan State, thanks to Ohio State's win over Michigan, a win, and the Nittany Lions are in the Big Ten title game on Fox against Wisconsin. Saquon Barkley over the top, giving Penn State the lead. It's 10-9. Actually, Michigan State just kicked the field goal right before the half. 12-10, Sparty. Seconds to go before the half.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Well, how about that for motivation for Penn State? You win and you're in.
Pretty clear cut. First and 10 at the 10-yard line. The hand to Petaway. Petaway stringing this out to the sideline. Hit hard. Out of bounds at the 20. Make it the 21, picks up 11. Cotton Boya delivering the hit.
And Iowa State's defense, they were there, but really give a lot of credit to Petaway for just giving up some ground to gain ground. A lot of Iowa State defenders are getting off blocks. They just could not make the play, but it really was about Petaway just kind of losing some ground so he could shake that tackle and get upfield.
Averaging over 7 yards on first down. Petaway 9 carries, 55 yards, his first action of the season with Crawford banged up today. Howard towards the sideline. Look in that direction for Marcus Sims, who had the 48-yard touchdown catch earlier today.
And just a really a two-man route with the running back kind of flaring out. Not a lot of options. And I think Skylar Howard actually did the smart thing and overthrew Sims because there's a lot of Iowa State defenders. Corner was sloughing off, kind of drifting back into that window. Potentially could have picked off that football.
Back to Petaway, able to wiggle through. Talk about finishing some runs. He picks up the first down.
Now, what an impressive running back. I mean, he's shown a lot of versatility. Speed to break it out on the outside, toughness to run on the inside. Once again, a lot of these teams employing this running back by committee, and West Virginia's using all their running backs right now as we get a bunch of banged up running backs. And Martell Petaway coming in and spelling these guys and giving them a nice little break in the run game.
You can see Justin Crawford coming off the third best rushing performance in school history, 331 yards without a touchdown, which was so interesting last week against Oklahoma. Injured early in this game, a lower body injury. Crawford 5th in the nation, averaging nearly 8 yards a carry. We have not seen him since the early moments, and it has made an opportunity for Petaway. Howard going deep again, looking for Gibson and overthrowing him.
Iowa State defensively, John Haycock, the defensive coordinator, at some point in time is going to have to get some pressure, dial up some pressure. We see Skylar Howard, just his efficiency in this game. The slant pass for a touchdown, and here comes the big deep throw. Watch him just load up and puts that ball in a spot only where his receiver can get it. And it's the big downfield throw has been a big difference maker in this game for West Virginia.
On 3rd and 10 on the ground, Petaway gobbled up by Justin Thomas. It's a loss of 2.
And Justin Thomas has been such a bright spot as we'll see him come right here, just penetrating, making that tackle behind the line of scrimmage. A JUCO All-American comes in. They started the season with him standing up. kind of a stand-up rush in outside linebacker, and then they said, you know what? We put your hand on the ground in practice, and you're awfully good, more explosive out of the three-point stance. And really, since that shift, you see an offsides here.
44.
False start.
5-yard penalty. 4th down.
But Justin Thomas has really come in, and again, it's one of those things that the coaches kind of just see, feeling these players out. A new coaching staff, got to figure out what these guys do best, and they figured with Justin Thomas, put your hand on the ground and you could be more of a disruptive player.
Billy Kenny, second in the conference, averaging 44 yards a punt. Looking for a deep one here as Ryan signals for a fair catch, and a flag comes in. They've had plenty of those here in the first half.
And it's going to be a halo penalty on West Virginia, not allowing the returner enough space.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team, number 27. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down, Iowa State.
And it's just a yard. That's all you have to give them, that 1 yard space. Fair catch, very definitive. And that is not 1 yard.
Easy call there.
Good breaks, though. I'll give him that. Running full speed, and he stops on a dime.
Sets up 1st and 10 at the 48 for the Cyclones. Jones, the man in motion. Montgomery hit hard right in midfield. Picks up 3. Jared Harper applying the hit. Montgomery a couple of weeks ago, nearly 170 yards at Kansas. Named the conference newcomer of the week. Trying to get something going against this West Virginia defense. Quick hitter out to Jones. That's sniffed out.
Well, what a nice job defensively of just avoiding the block. Using his quick feet to get around the block and make that play out on the perimeter. So once again, we see the speed of West Virginia's defense continue to show up, especially on a lot of these horizontal east-west passing game.
Beginning this drive with good field position, now looking at 3rd and 5 with under 3 minutes to play in the half. Park able to, looks like just get enough for a 1st down, looking for Montgomery. Let's see where they spot it, and that might be just shy.
It looks like they're going to spot him just short, but I like the play call. You get 3 receivers on the play side. It's man coverage, and they run all slants to kind of clear out that flat area. Then to get Montgomery, who's exceptional at catching the football in the backfield, but stopped just a few inches short.
Timeout called.
First charge timeout. West Virginia, 30-second timeout.
Stops the clock at 2:07 to play here in the first half. We've seen some big plays for West Virginia, specifically through the passing game. Meanwhile, the Cyclones trying to finish their season. This is it for the Cyclones this season, trying to finish the year on a 3-game winning streak. Trying to convert here on 4th and 1.
You see the slants by the 2 inside receivers. And where does that knee and that forearm hit the ground in relation to where the football is? Side judge had a clear line of sight to see that. And I think when Iowa State lined up, Dana Holgorsen and his staff wanted to take a look at the personnel, wanted to make sure that they matched up man for man. Didn't feel like they had the right matchup. They call a timeout. There once again, it's hard to see the football in his left hand. but that's when he's down. And from that angle, it does look like it's a good call.
Are you surprised, Ben, by the lack of Joel Lanning that we've seen? We've seen him for one play, one carry, that play, a touchdown run by Lanning, but
Correct,
it was whistled off because of a couple of penalties.
You know, I really am. I mean, their MO last week in that huge win over Texas Tech was to showcase him a lot in the quarterback run game, and you think he's such a weapon. Why not do it in these situations, especially right now when it's 4th and inches?
Quick handoff Montgomery, and he's able to swim forward for enough for the first down.
See, and that's where I think it's interesting in college football now, because centers are not used to having the quarterback underneath them for direct snaps. This is a perfect situation. We have a few inches to go where normally snap the ball, the quarterback just go over, but they feel more comfortable snapping the ball in shotgun and then handing the ball off or doing some sort of quarterback power, but that just takes so much time. That's so unusual about the game that we see right now.
Back to Montgomery, and right away, minimal pickup. Right now, we'll check in once again with Mike Hill back in Los Angeles. Time for another game break.
Guys, USC, one of the hottest teams in the nation, taking on Notre Dame, and it's Adoree Jackson. He's dangerous. 55 yards on the punt return, his 3rd return for a TD this season. SC up 24-7 at the half. Remember, the Trojans can get in the Pac-12 title game if Utah beats Colorado later today on Fox.
Adoree Jackson, just an electrifying player for USC. Going up high for it, Lazard has it go through his hands. He's been quiet since that 67-yard reception.
Yeah, he really has, and that one you can't put on anybody other than himself. I mean, he knows that Park is going to throw it high. He has to try to get 2 hands on that. That's the matchup they wanted, a little play-action pass. Inside receiver clears that space out for him. And it was a little high, but a big frame and a big body and good, reliable hands. He needs to come down with those critical plays.
A short run and incompletion brings up 3rd and 9 as we approach the 1-minute mark here in the first half. Park pressure, tries to get out of it. Ball is loose and recovered. Sean Walters applied the pressure. And for a team that has thrived on not turning the ball over, that's the 2nd.
Virginia, first down.
Did he not throw that ball? Was it, or did it hit backwards?
If he did, it would have been a pass in the backfield.
So first off, not outside the tackle box. Ooh.
Christian Brown came up with it.
The fumble is under review.
You know, again, another judgment call, because that actually sort of looks like by just a few inches it actually goes forward. But again, I don't know if there's enough there to say that you can overturn this call.
Under a minute to play in the first half. This on 3rd and 9.
And it's Sean Walters who applies the pressure on the blitz. Nobody picks him up. Park doing whatever he can to avoid the sack. Tries to throw the ball forward. And as the officials saw it, it was either lateral or behind the line, behind where he threw it, which would be a fumble. And that's the call on the field right now.
Now for some further guidance, once again we check in with Mike Pereira. Mike, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, boy, we've had so many tight ones here. This is kind of one of those where you look, it's where the ball leaves his hand and then where it first touches the ground. Now, they ruled that it was backwards. They didn't rule it forward. So that's what they've got to make the determination here. We actually think it's forward. We think it's a bit forward from where it lands, but remember, has to be indisputable, but, you know, in our consensus here, we think it's forward, actually.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you hanging on the line with us here in the first half. We've joined you a number of times.
Can you call intentional grounding there?
You can't call intentional grounding. You can't add it on in, unless there was an announcement made that there was no intentional grounding because it was a pass. Now you can see usually when they have this discussion here, if they start writing down a lot of things, this is the key here. When you get ready to write down a lot, usually you're looking at the potential of a reversal here. It's always the key. I gave Matt Millen that key one time. Watch the referee, and if he goes with another official and they start writing down things on cards, then you can tell that there's going to be a reversal, and they're not really doing that yet at this point. But we always look at these indicators here.
That's good to know. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. I love that little piece of information.
Well, here we go.
Reviewing the play, the quarterback threw the ball forward. Ball will be returned to the previous spot. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down. Please reset the game clock. 1 minute and 2 seconds.
Reversed, as you can see, Dana Holgorsen not pleased at all.
Well, the most important thing is they got the call right. And it was just by fractions that the ball was going forward. So that is the right call. Obviously, Dana Holgorsen doesn't like it. His team got affected by it. But I think they got the right call. And now we got a punt formation for Iowa State, avoiding a big-time disastrous turnover.
So instead of a short field for West Virginia, Cyclones a chance to pin the Mountaineers deep with just over a minute to play in the first half. Jennings standing at his own 10 to return this punt from Downing. Downing just 3 punts last week when the Cyclones dropped 66 on Texas Tech. Jennings signals for the fair catch. 55 seconds till halftime, and coming up, the State Farm halftime show with Rob Stone, Dave Wannstedt, Matt Leinart, Robert Smith, among other things, discussing, of course, just an epic one. Michigan and Ohio State, number 3 versus number 2. Also look inside the Iron Bowl with number 1 Alabama. And the coaching carousel, a number of moves already today. A lot to talk about at halftime. 21-16 West Virginia. Here from Ames, Iowa. Long field ahead with under a minute for Skyler Howard. Incomplete, looking for Petaway.
Well, and West Virginia may just want to stay aggressive here, knowing that they got the opening kickoff. They will kick the ball off here in the second half. And only with the 5-point lead against a recently dangerous Iowa State offense that you might want to stay aggressive here again with 2 timeouts.
A rare carry for Elijah Wellman. Wellman stays on his feet before he's punished by Willie Harvey. Picks up 6. And this first half for Skyler Howard, touchdown passes of 34 yards and 48 yards. Karan White, Marcus Sims. White having to leave the field in the early moments of the second quarter because of the lower body injury. Have not seen him since. They're, of course, also without Justin Crawford.
And they're not going to stay aggressive, as with 2 timeouts, if they want to get this ball down the field, they would have called it. Pretty apparent they're just going to take this lead right now into halftime.
To Petaway. Has a seam. Petaway out to the 40. And that does things here in the first half as he gains 23 to take us to the break. Pretty wild first half in a lot of ways. Some big plays. A return touchdown by Iowa State of 97 yards. And we step aside here from Ames. 21-16, the number 18 team of the country, West Virginia, on top of Iowa State. Right now, let's send you back to Rob Stone and the gang in Los Angeles. Iowa Senior Day. 24 seniors being celebrated here at Iowa State. West Virginia, the number 18 team of the country, leading 21-16 as we're moments away from the second half. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Ben Lieber. Have been a lot of big plays in this first half. We saw a 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by the Cyclones. But you take a look at Skyler Howard, the quarterback for West Virginia. 5 completions, 150 yards, and of those 5 completions, 2 have been for scores.
Yeah, it's been all about the big plays, really, for both teams. You know, for Skyler Howard, just 4 of those, 147 yards. 4 passes for Iowa State, 137 yards. So only a 10-yard differential on those 4 pass, or those 4 pass plays. But also for Iowa State, they had 1 costly fumble, and it was just 1, but it's led to 7 points for West Virginia. And with the score that it is, that really has been the difference maker in this game.
That fumble by running back Mike Warren, who was escorted off the field after being injured. We take a look at our halftime stats. And what do you make of 48 yards on the ground? That's it for the Cyclones.
You know, again, I really thought that both teams were going to come in and try to establish the run game. West Virginia's had some injuries, so now they're back, you know, way down on their running back depth chart with Petaway. But Iowa State, it's not so much that they're not running Montgomery much. It's just when they get in the red zone, I thought more of Joel Lanning, and we haven't seen that.
We've seen him only 1 time. It was a touchdown run that was called back, as once again trying to keep things away from Nwangu, who took it to the house from 97 yards out earlier today. Well, Jacob Park, already more pass attempts in the first half than he had all of last week. His performance in the first half.
You know, he's looked pretty good at times. I mean, he's done a good job of getting out of the pocket, eluding some pressure, but doing a tremendous job of recognizing when West Virginia's going to pressure him and trying to get the ball off, keeping his eyes down the field. So doing a decent job so far of leading this offense. But once again, it's going to come down for me more of the running game and getting bigger plays running the football for Iowa State.
Park has multiple touchdown passes in each of the last 4 games. There has not been an offensive touchdown by Iowa State in this game so far. On the ground of Montgomery, couple of nifty moves, and right away on the first carry inside of West Virginia territory, a pickup of 15, and you can see the return from Nwangu earlier helping to set up this good field position.
Yeah, just watch the cutback here. Everything's kind of sliding to the left, and you get a huge block from Patrick Scoggins, the right guard, that really seals that whole play.
A flag on the play as Trevor Ryan, who had 3 catches in the first half. Would it be a gain of 8?
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 13. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's first down.
Andre Daly.
You know, that's the 5th penalty by the receivers for both teams. 4 holding calls, now a face mask. All of it on blocking assignments on either screen passes or runs to the outside. So both offenses struggling with the receivers to try to develop some clean blocking downfield.
Makes it 1st and 25, wipes away that good field position after the long front run from Montgomery. Park keeping it this time, getting strung out and not going anywhere. Marvin Gross Jr., the safety out of Baltimore, pick up a 3.
I think you just have to be really careful with Jacob Park in these situations. He can run the football, but he's just such an asset throwing that I don't know if you want at this point in the game, at this down and distance in the field, to run Jacob Park.
Of course, Park, a very decorated high school quarterback from South Carolina, transferred from Georgia. On 2nd and 22, looking up top for Lazard, having to leave his feet incomplete to bring up 3rd and long. Lazard with 3 catches in the first half for 96 yards.
Well, and that's the 2nd time he's overthrown Lazard. He's done a good job of recognizing mismatches, knowing that you got to put the ball high for Lazard using that 6'5" frame. But that's twice now that he's been targeted. Lazard has been getting open, but just the too high of a throw, he's got to bring that down just a little bit for Lazard to make a play.
3rd and 22. Park finding Montgomery out of the backfield. Nifty move out past the 45. Able to gain some ground before he's brought down by Howard, a gain of 16. And nearly enough for the first down, brings up 4th.
Yeah, you can just see why, another reason why they like this young freshman. He can run out of the backfield, and he can catch out of the backfield. He can be a true 3-down player. Not enough for a first down, but just look at the skill set that he has. He's only going to get better. He's only going to get stronger. But you saw just a little bit of that balance and that quickness displayed on that one play.
Colin Downing, Ray Guy Award watch list on to punt things away for the Cyclones. And down inside the 5. Fantastic effort. And now they're going to rule that a win into the end zone. DeMonte Roth, pardon me, the man who tipped it out.
And what they're going to look at is
ruling on the field. The kicking team touched the ball in the end zone. Result of the play is a touchback. First down.
he was about a half a yard into the end zone. Right when that left foot hits into the end zone, he cannot be a player that touches the ball. That's a good call, but almost an incredible individual effort by Roth.
First second half possession coming up for Skyler Howard and West Virginia. Of course, it was Howard who made his first career start right here in Ames the last time West Virginia was here. Clint Trickett injured the week before, concussion against K-State. Petaway, who had a nice first half, 93 yards in the first. Able to move this whole pile forward. And they'll finally blow it dead. He gains 9.
He gains 9. You got to give credit to his offensive line for coming up behind him to push him. He was stopped after about 3 yards, but it's just turning the legs. His teammates come and push behind him, and they win that battle there for extra yardage.
He's over 100 yards for the day now, going deep. Looking once again, Shelton Gibson will waltz into the end zone. And the big plays continue. This one for 71 yards. Third touchdown pass from Skyler Howard today.
Just tremendous speed from Shelton Gibson. Had a 50-yard reception earlier in the game. And it was nothing special. Manned up on the outside. Had a nice little lean into the cornerback. Put his foot in the ground and got back upfield. And again, the long touch pass from Skyler Howard deep down the field. Spot on the money. Hit Shelton in stride. And Gibson takes in for the touchdown.
Kamari Kanamoya shaking up on the play. So the touchdown passes from Howard have gone 34 yards, 48 yards, and now 71.
It's a little bit of an inside tick right there. That's all it takes for him to gain that separation. Cotton Moya was caught a little bit flat-footed. You have to honor that, a little bit of that slant look. And Gibson sticks his foot in the ground, catches Cotton Moya flat-footed. And again, we talk about that speed, the fastest guy on the team on display on that one route. And again, Skyler Howard once again displaying not only just the strength, but the accuracy of throwing downfield.
He's been dialing up the deep ball all day long. Molina, the junior out of Hurricane, West Virginia, finishes the scoring drive 28-16. Skyler Howard, the senior out of Fort Worth, going deep. One of the best deep threats in the nation. Shelton Gibson, 71 yards. West Virginia starting to separate just a bit here in Ames. Fox Sports Go. I mentioned in the first half, Gibson 6th in the nation, averaging nearly 21 yards per catch. Longest play of the season, 71 yards for the score. How about that? 2 plays, 80 yards, under 40 seconds.
Well, and it's just pure speed. My goodness, when they say that he's the fastest on the team, you can see why. When he opens it up, there's not a guy on this team, this Iowa State defense, that can run with him foot for foot.
Again, trying to keep the ball out of Nwangu's hands. Right now, we're going to go back to Los Angeles. We check in with Mike Hill, the game break. Mike, what's happening?
Hey, checking out the #1 team in the nation, Alabama, taking on their fierce rivals, Auburn. Jalen Hurts, how about the true freshman for a Heisman Trophy finalist? 4 yards, gets some 6. That puts Alabama up 20-9 in the third. You got to figure, if Bama wins this game, they are in the Final Four despite what happens in the SEC championship game next week against Florida.
Thank you, Mike. Certainly worth watching there. First and 10 to the 31. It's Montgomery, the running back. Park this year taking really his first snaps, his first game action since his senior year in high school. The Montgomery on first down, not picking up much. Gets a yard before Darian Howard meets him. Really, when you think about the journey for Jacob Park, a redshirt at Georgia back in 2014, transferred to Trident Technical College in his hometown of South Carolina. No football at that school, played in a church league. Then on to Northeast Oklahoma A&M, didn't play there. Arrived in Ames over the summer. Long journey for Jacob Park as we step aside. An injury down on the field, Patrick Scoggins. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Patrick Scoggins able to walk off on his own power. Now Bryce Meeker, the freshman out of Cedar Rapids, on the offensive line, taking his place for the Cyclones. 2nd and 9. They bring Jones in motion. Park out of a clean pocket, connects. Big play here. Jones, his 4th catch inside the 30. Tripped up before he's finally wrestled down just shy of the 25. Marvin Gross Jr. is able to cut that play dead after a long pickup of 41.
Well, we saw Alan Lazard with a big play in the first half against the blitz, and once again they catch West Virginia on a blitz and they hit him with Deshaunte Jones over the middle.
Montgomery stringing it out, turning upfield. Gains 5.
Well, here comes the void. Watch all of these guys, and there's the slant pass right in behind. Here comes the blitz. Deshaunte Jones wins on the inside. The ball's delivered perfectly. He does the rest.
2nd and 5 at the 22. Lazard at the bottom of the screen, but instead they stay on the ground of Montgomery. Able to spin forward. Picks up 4. It was Rasul Douglas who made the tackle, brings up 3rd and short.
Such nifty feet. Spin move, gets out of the tackle of David Long and puts himself in a position. 3rd and 1.
Park able to make a man miss. First down, Cyclones. He gains 8 on the play. Justin Arndt, who had to leave the field in the first half because of injury, back on for West Virginia, making the tackle.
This is really what this game has been missing from both sides. It's just offensive rhythm.
On the ground of Montgomery. Spinning. And body slammed out of bounds. See if a flag's coming. Montgomery slow to get up. Jared Harper. That's a loss of what looked like it easily could have drawn a flag.
Well, he's still in the field of play. Whistle's blown right about there. And I've been in those situations as a defensive player that you can't hear that whistle sometimes. You know that he's not out of bounds. So you're going to continue through the play to get the ball carrier on the ground. I actually think that's a good no call.
Makes it 2nd and 12. Harger, the running back. Park looking to pass. And knocked away in the end zone, looking for Lazard. Jeremy Tyler, some tight coverage. I'll go back to that previous play out of bounds.
I'll take a listen for the whistle here at the end of this play. And again, I think that's a hard thing when you're in the process of making the tackle to hear that whistle and stop, especially when the ball carrier is still in the field of play.
Park on 3rd and 12. Brings up 4th down. Harger out of the backfield.
Again, normally Iowa State's so good in the red zone. The play before, he tries to force the ball into the zone coverage of Lazard. There are 3 defenders there. He was lucky not to have that one intercepted. And then a high throw with the receiver coming over the middle. So red zone efficiency for this offense has been a struggle all game long.
Denton 3 for 3 today. This one from 31 yards out. And he hits once again. Iowa State still without an offensive touchdown. 4 field goals plus the 97-yard kickoff return earlier in the first half by the legs of Nwangu. Remember this game last year, Iowa State scored just 6 points, 2 field goals. They have not scored a touchdown against West Virginia in 8 quarters.
Well, we came into this game understanding that West Virginia's defense is one of the best in the Big 12 in a variety of ways, especially in the back end. And Iowa State's been on a roll, though. I mean, this is a little surprising. I think we keep hitting on this point, both you and I, Aaron, is Iowa State's getting in the red zone, and they're not using Joel Lanning as a quarterback, who is one of their best running backs, with how tough that he runs to grind out some of those plays that read option, the quarterback powers. They're getting away from any sort of quarterback run game, and I think you're starting to see the effects, as you mentioned it, not an offensive touchdown here today for them.
Chris Francis, his 2nd season as a Cyclones kickoff man. With 8:50 to play in the 3rd quarter, West Virginia starts things off at the 25. How about this odd day for Skyler Howard? 6 completions, but they've done some serious damage, haven't they?
Well, hey, as long as you hit some of these big plays, apparently it doesn't matter how many plays you hit, but he's had a lot of long, deep completions for success against a very good secondary for Iowa State. And the thing that I continue to be impressed with is not just getting the ball down there, but he's getting the ball in stride, putting it in small windows, putting it in spots where only his receivers can go and make some plays. As you see, 6 for 13, but for 221 and 3 touches.
Shelton Gibson, 2 catches, 121 yards, as Howard keeps it himself and picks up the first down with his legs. Picks up a dozen.
And we haven't seen this facet of his game much today. We just talked about the playmaking ability of him throwing the ball down the field, but this is an area where you have to be concerned with because he can run with the ball as well. An awful lot of attention when we talk about Joel Lanning when he's in the game, but Skyler Howard is a nice little powerful sort of running back because he's got that small frame. Almost an interception.
Kane Seeley, Cyclones leading active player with 47 games under his belt. First pass broken up today, counted that with 6 for West Virginia.
And Seeley does an amazing job of just sliding underneath Javon Durant. Understanding that zone coverage, kept his eyes on the quarterback and just kept sliding and broke on that pass. Nearly a costly interception for Skyler Howard.
Pettaway over 100 yards on the day. This effort will help his cause. Breaks a couple of tackles. A flag is out as he passes midfield. It has taken multiple efforts. It seems like almost every time to bring Pettaway down.
It really does. You know, we talked about Justin Crawford.
Holding, offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's 2nd down.
Tony Mateo, redshirt freshman out of Clinton, Ohio.
And you'll see Mateo here playing left guard. They slid Adam Pankey, who's normally the left guard, over left tackle. He just gets up on the 2nd level. And once again, a lot of holding calls by both teams. And I mentioned earlier just the lack of rhythm. Every time I feel like both offenses get a little something going on a drive, it's an injury or it's a penalty that sets them back.
Now to your point, 4th holding penalty as they quickly touch pass to Durant. Durant running all over the place. He loses 2. Like a game of hot potato between Howard and Javon Durant.
Well, as Jaquan Bailey, the unblocked man on the line of scrimmage, disrupts that play, and here comes Iowa State and their momentum.
On 3rd and 20, deep strike looking towards the sideline for Durant, incomplete. Stops the clock at 7:34 to play in the 3rd quarter. West Virginia, the number 18 team of the country, a win tonight would mean their best season since joining the Big 12. Back in 2012, a chance for their 9th win, their 6th win in the conference. Would be the best season under Dana Holgorsen since joining the Big 12. Kenny to punt things away to Ryan. Loses yards and is brought down after falling back. We'll step aside here in Ames, 28-19, West Virginia on top. A 2-loss West Virginia team leading 28-19 here in the 3rd quarter. Right now we go back to Los Angeles. Please say hello to Mike Hill for a game break. Mike.
All right, fellas, Big Ten action. Number 7 Penn State taking on Michigan State, and it's Tracy McSorley going downfield. He finds Chris Godwin, 59 yards on the score. That put Penn State up 31-12. Nittany Lions win, and they are in the Big Ten title game on Fox next week. Fellas?
Pretty simple win, and you're in. So fine work by Penn State. Jacob Park and the Cyclones offense going to work. Nwangu is in the backfield. The freshman out of Frisco, Texas, in the Metroplex. At the 97-yard kickoff return for a score earlier. On play action, batted down. Noble Nwachukwu making his 36th career start. The senior out of Wiley, Texas, knocking that down.
And Nwachukwu, we haven't called his name much, but he's such a disruptive player up front. Does a nice job of just recognizing quick passing game, 3-step. If you're not going to get to the quarterback, get your hands up, and he does that and tips that ball and forces a 2nd and 10.
From the 27, Montgomery back in the game for Iowa State. One second left on the play clock. Timeout call. We saw this a couple of times in the first half from Iowa State.
Yeah, this is the
timeout. Iowa State, 30-second timeout.
This is the 3rd time that has happened. Some miscommunication with just the play calling early in the first half. It was a lot of big personnel substitutions, not just one guy, but 2, 3 guy packages coming on and off the field, and that led to a lot of misused timeouts because of that. And once again, in the second half, they have to take one because the clock wound down and Park was not able to diagnose and get the snap off.
A chance to talk about Matt Campbell in his first year here in Ames. Look at the youngest head coaches in the FBS. 36 years old. He is the youngest Power 5 head coach. Previous 4 years, head coach at Toledo. Built a very good program there. Former player and coach at Division III powerhouse Mount Union. Number of coaches on his staff he played with in college.
And it'll be interesting to see where P.J. Fleck from Western Michigan ends up. As we talked a little bit earlier about this coaching carousel, he's a hot coach right now.
On 2nd and 10, Park steps up, fires a bullet, complete to Dondre Daly out towards midfield. Picks up 22 on the play. That'll move the chains. Daly's first catch.
Well, another reason why they like Park as a quarterback is, as a young player, he has this great sense of just understanding his progressions, reading the coverage from left to right, and he hits him right there with a nice strike to Daly.
Park able to step up, and it's knocked away. Looking this time for Trevor Ryan. Rasul Douglas, we spent a lot of time earlier today talking about Douglas, one of the best defensive backs in the nation.
Well, and again, a nicely thrown ball, really should have been completed. But Rasul Douglas, again, second leading interceptor in the country with 7, has tremendous ability to get to the football, and he got there in time just to knock that ball out. But a nice throw, good velocity for Jacob Park.
On 2nd and 10, they stay on the ground with Montgomery. Montgomery a loss of 2 with Chuku coming in to help put the brakes on Montgomery.
And with Chuku, that's the second time we've called his name. Hadn't called his name this whole game so far. Batted down a pass. Now he steps up big in the run game. A guy that didn't even play football until his junior year of high school has been an impressive player here in West Virginia.
3rd and 12 at the 47. Pumping, now throwing, and incomplete. Haven't looked much towards Justin Chandler today. Just 3 catches all season. None the last 7 games. Can't connect to bring up 4th and long.
Yeah, not exactly the outlet guy that you would think is going to catch that ball, turn up field, and pick up a long 12-yard 3rd down conversion. Like you said, Justin Chandler really known for his blocking, good blocker on the inside, not really known as a pass catcher, especially running after the catch.
Brings on Downing to punt things away. Jennings standing with heels on his own 10. Diggling for a fair catch. Just inside the 15. Stops the clock. 5:56 left in the 3rd quarter. West Virginia, the number 18 team of the country, leading 28-19. This is it for Iowa State. Their season ends today, trying to finish on a high note of what would be a 3-game winning streak. Meanwhile, West Virginia, after the disappointing loss in Morgantown amidst the snow last Saturday, only a 2-loss team, 8-2. Their only losses, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. The 2 teams that'll battle it out in Bedlam for the Big 12 title. And for a season this year for Dana Holgorsen and West Virginia that entered with not great expectations, an 8-win campaign, a chance today for a 9th, awfully impressive.
Well, you mentioned those 2 losses they had. You even go back to this Oklahoma game last week in the snow, kind of took them out of their game. Skylar Howard didn't throw the ball effectively, but really was about the turnovers. They drove the ball, had a ton of yards against Oklahoma, but put the ball on the ground twice inside the 5.
Howard keeping this the whole way, past midfield after he faked the handoff to Petaway. Howard having a big night with his legs, 38 yards on that carry before Lewis knocks him out of bounds.
Well, they get the pulling guard to come around. That's Tony Mateo at left guard. They get him pulling around, kind of a quarterback power off that read. And we talk about his athleticism, he's not a dynamic runner, but he's good enough to be a weapon.
First down from the 48. Howard to pass. Heaves it out towards the sideline. A long throw. That time finding Marcus Sims, who hauled in the 48-yard touchdown catch in the first half. This one good for 17.
Well, and he was even looking to the left, trying to get Shelton Gibson again on another deep pass, but they doubled him. And because of the time and the blocking up front, he's able to scan the field all the way from his left to his right to find Sims.
Petaway and Wellman in the backfield. Justin Crawford only 7 carries before an injury in the first half to his lower body. Has been out ever since. Petaway cuts upfield. He's having a very impressive day. Picks up 3. He's well over 100 yards. Willie Harvey, leading tackler for Iowa State, pulls him down.
And Iowa State tries to guess right. They brought a boundary blitz from the offensive right side, and West Virginia runs away from it.
Big hole for Petaway once again. Met at the 15. We saw Kennedy McCoy, a 3-yard touchdown run early in the first quarter. McCoy, of course, injured on the first play from scrimmage in last week's game against Oklahoma, an ankle injury. We have not seen McCoy since today, since that touchdown, really. Shell is out. Crawford is out. Although he started today, it has been Petaway with his first action this season.
And they really haven't dropped off. I mean, the talent is there, and it's deep for West Virginia.
Petaway at the 10. And hit firm. Kane Seeley after a pickup of 8. They're just ripping off chunks of yards. First quarter on the ground, West Virginia averaged 3 yards per carry. In the second quarter, 8 yards per carry. You can see the door opening up wider and wider.
And I think these guys up front are kind of mashing on this Iowa State defense and just softening things up.
Pettaway just shy of the goal line.
And then you have a big, powerful running back in Martell Pettaway. It's making a long day for these second and third level defenders for Iowa State trying to tackle this big back that won't go down on first contact. Personnel issues right now. There's 8 seconds on the play clock. We're going to burn a timeout here for West Virginia.
And they do. We'll step aside as well. Skylar Howard and this West Virginia offense knocking at the door here in the third quarter.
Love that.
Much easier than most FS1 UFC Fight Night reads. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Ben Lieber. First and goal for the 1 for Skylar Howard and West Virginia. Pettaway a chance for his first touchdown. And he moves early.
2, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Maybe he knew he was a yard away from it too.
You think Pettaway was going to get this ball? He's dotting the I. Oh, I'm a little too anxious.
Third false start for the Mountaineers tonight. Making out first and goal to the 6. Pettaway stays in there. They hand to Pettaway. Inside the 5 and then right away. Picks up just 2. Mitchell Myers along with Renell Trent.
And unfortunately, if that was the play call they were going to go with on the first time they tried it, that would have been good enough for a touchdown for Pettaway. But got a little too anxious. Had to move him back.
Would have needed just 1. Picked up 2. Second and goal from the 4. Pettaway seeing his first action of the season today because of the injury to Crawford. Lunges forward, and Pettaway is in for the touchdown, the first of his young career. This has been a remarkable showing today for Martell Pettaway. Did not have a carry. Justin Crawford injured early in the first quarter. And all Pettaway has done is come off the bench, run for over 100 yards, and now score.
Well, virtually the same play this time from shotgun, and he deserves that touchdown. For as much work as he's put in today and as hard as he's run, he deserved to get the ball on that spot to get his first touchdown, just powering through that right side with the lead blocker.
Molina makes this a 35-19 West Virginia lead here in Ames, Iowa. And Pettaway having a monster day. The freshman getting his first carries and making them count. Pettaway with 20 carries on the night, 138 yards, and he punches it in just a few yards out. Averaging nearly 7 yards a carry. 8 plays, 86 yards for the Mountaineers. A drive that took under 3.5 minutes. Almost everything was on the ground. Just 1 pass attempt from Howard. At the 30, knocked out of bounds. Right now we will head back to Los Angeles once again. We say hi once more to Mike Hill for a game break. Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys? Got to tell you about Adoree Jackson because he is going off against Notre Dame for USC. He's got a punt return for a TD, a receiving TD, and here on the kickoff return, look at that. Over a defender, and he's gone. 97 yards, 291 all-purpose yards, 3 scores for Jackson. Trojans up 38-21 in the 4th, and yeah, give him the Heisman pose. USC looking for their 8th straight win, fellas.
Wow. What a tough start to the season for the Trojans. And Adoree Jackson, a big reason why they've been able to come out of it.
It's not a bad stat line.
First and 10 from the 30. It continues to be Jacob Park and Jacob Park alone as he finds Lazard for the first time since halftime. 3 catches for 96 yards in the first half. This one good for 7. We spent all this time been talking about the 2 quarterback setup for Iowa State. Jacob Park, Joel Lanning. And we have seen Lanning for 1 snap, a snap that resulted in a Lanning touchdown run, but it was wiped away because of a couple of Iowa State penalties. Montgomery on 2nd and 3, slips a tackle, gets a first down, stays on his feet. Montgomery down the sideline, now loses the ball, and it is recovered by West Virginia. Second turnover today by Iowa State. Maurice Fleming falls on top of it.
It is so hard to be critical of David Montgomery on this run. Look at the strength, look at the effort, the speed. You love everything, just fighting for yardage. But when you're stiff-arming with your offhand, you still have to keep that ball secured and tucked up against your chest. It is much easier said than done. And Rasul Douglas, who had a key pass breakup earlier in the game, comes from behind and again just punches that ball out. But man, oh man, I love the effort from David Montgomery. He just couldn't hold on the ball. He's fighting for extra yardage.
Took it on the ground for 45 yards before Douglas stripped it. Of course, Douglas with 7 interceptions on the season, this time forcing the fumble as Pettaway continues to add to his very impressive day.
Well, a guy that was key on that touchdown for Pettaway is Elijah Wellman, number 28. Once again comes up big on an interior block. They've asked a lot of him. The running backs have went down in game before. They've asked him to step up and run the ball, but when he doesn't do that, he's their key guy on the inside to block a lot of linebackers and a lot of end man on the line of scrimmage.
Pettaway slipping 3. Pettaway just churning up yards today here in Iowa. This one on the ground for 23 before Cotton Moya tracks him down. He has a very realistic chance today of 200 yards. Tries to cut upfield, met right away. Jaquan Bailey there. He started the last 6 games. This time they hold him to just 3 yards.
And this is where the tempo of a lot of teams really starts to wear down a defense, because you've been on the field a lot. They've been hitting you for big plays, and then they start grinding out later in the game, running the ball, hitting you in the mouth, and they don't give you any time to get readjusted, to catch your breath. But they're doing that now. They're huddling now, but that's the dangerous thing about these teams like West Virginia. When you can start running the ball with tempo, really wears out a defense.
Stacked receivers both sides. A draw. Howard is wrestled down, and here comes a flag. Things getting a little chippy. Johnston Thomas in there.
There's no foul on the play for grabbing the helmet opening. The player grabbed the back of the jersey. This is the end of the 3rd quarter. Timeout on the field.
3rd sack by this Iowa State defense as that completes 3 quarters here in Ames. West Virginia, the number 18 team of the country, looking for their best season since joining the Big 12, looking to go to 9-2 on the campaign. We come back with the 4th quarter from Iowa in just a moment. Glad you could join us here in Ames, Iowa. Final game of the season for Iowa State at 3-8. Meanwhile, West Virginia trying to pick up their 9th win of the season. On 3rd and 12, Howard Setting up the screen to Petaway. Petaway breaking free. Spinning forward, and you just cannot bring him down with the first effort.
You know you can't do it, and a nice setup. They guessed right, thinking Iowa State was going to be in man. They were. They took the double stack, or the stack receivers, ran them off the field, which cleared out that whole left side of the offense, and he just dumped the ball down to your big bruising running back and let him go out there and pick up the first down.
Good for 25 yards. Gibson, a couple of catches. His last for 71 yards, a touchdown strike. Petaway this time bottled up at the 40. Loses 3. Regan Northrup is off out of Jacksonville.
Well, there's Northrup right there. Outside linebacker. Just shoots the gap. Read the high hats. That gap opened up, and he just pulled the trigger and went downhill. A backup linebacker doesn't get a lot of snaps, been getting a lot more run lately. Again, this coaching staff is trying to find the right mix going into next season. A lot of young guys getting a lot of precious game time snaps.
2nd and 13 from the 40. Howard trying to dial it up deep. Underthrows his man, and Gibson is able to hold it in for his second touchdown. This one for 40 yards. Talk about an adjustment.
That's all it was. A slightly underthrown ball. Cotton Moya was actually in good coverage, but it was Shelton Gibson that just turns the exact same route that he got on that 71-yard touchdown. That little inside-out move going down the field makes a nice adjustment on an underthrown ball. Hits him for another score.
4th touchdown pass from the senior Skyler Howard. And West Virginia has really blown this one open now with 13:37 left to play. Molina makes it 42-19. Gibson has 3 catches, 2 for scores, 71, this time 41.
You'll see Howard staying in the pocket, taking a big hit right there from Northrup, who made the play earlier, and then Cotton Moya in the coverage once again on Shelton Gibson. Same matchup that Gibson had on that 71-yarder. And again, watch just a little, it's that little bit of a inside move right there. And we talk about that speed. And Skyler Howard understanding his receivers, what they do best. Trust Gibson to go out and make a play against really actually good coverage by Cotton Moya down the field. And Shelton Gibson, look at that, 53.7 average for the day.
You look at that total, 161. You wouldn't have thought that he would have bested his outing last year against the Cyclones. A season ago, 148 yards, a 60-yard touchdown catch. Well, this year, 3 grabs, 161, and 2 scores. Mitchell Harger. He's had his work cut out for him on special teams today. As the Cyclones get set on offense, we go back to Los Angeles and Mike Hill for a game break.
Battle for Paul Bunyan's axe, but much more at stake for number 6 Wisconsin against Minnesota. Badgers already in the Big Ten title game, but trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. That's Dare Ogunbowale, 8-yard score, putting the Badgers up 31-17 in the 4th. You're in control, fellas.
All righty, thank you, Mike. You know, Ben, we've talked about how little we've seen Lanning. Just for that one carry that was wiped away because of a penalty, it would have been a touchdown. But at this point, and it has been brewing in this direction, really, Matt Campbell has no choice but to play Jacob Park, with the score being what it is. As this time he finds Ryan his first catch of the second half.
Well, no doubt. I mean, now it's you have to rely on the arm of Jacob Park and his receivers. You're down 3 possessions and 3 scores in the 4th quarter. You just have to sling it out there. Hopefully you can catch a big play, get some momentum, and then hopefully either a special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown.
Lazard, 4 grabs, had 3 for 96 in the first half, has been held to just 1 catch since halftime. Montgomery, the fumble earlier. Able to get past midfield inside of West Virginia territory as he picks up 10 and a first down before Douglas rips him down to the grass.
Well, earlier in the game, we started the game with just a couple keys to this game. It's ball security really for both teams. We talk about those turnovers that West Virginia's had against Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. But just as equal, playing at home, you need to take care of the football. It's 14 points off of turnovers for West Virginia, 2 fumbles for Iowa State. And that's really what's taken them out of this game and put them in a huge hole here in the fourth quarter.
D'Andre Daly shaking up on the play. The senior out of Florida will step aside. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Happy to have you with us here tonight from Ames, Iowa. Really pretty pleasant day weather-wise, 55 degrees at kickoff. Of course, a week ago when Texas Tech was in town, the wind chill was down to 28, so this looked like paradise compared to 7 days ago here from Iowa. Things have cooled a little bit as the lights have turned on. 12:45 left to play. Iowa State in a huge hole. Ball is loose. Park trying to dive on top of it. West Virginia saying they've got it.
Looks like Wachuku on the bottom of the pile.
The Mountaineers come up with it. Noble Wachuku's had a strong second half.
Yeah, he really has, and you'll see this is all on Jacob Park. Took his eyes off the ball, trying to get that little read play with David Montgomery. Just an undisciplined play by the young quarterback. And there you see the 3 turnovers for Iowa State. And more importantly for West Virginia on the road, 0 turnovers.
Lost fumbles on consecutive drives by the Cyclones. Of course, it was Montgomery after that long 45-yard run. 2 drives ago, this time Park. Howard hands it off to Elijah Wellman. The ball began to get exposed a little bit. He holds on to it, but flags are down.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 99, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Burnell Trent. How about this day from Skyler Howard? We've talked about the oddity that is his passing line today. 10 completions for Howard, the senior quarterback out of Fort Worth. 10 completions, 4 of them for touchdowns, 301 yards.
Yeah, not real efficient when it comes to just pure completions, but they're effective, and they've been big plays, and they really have taken a lot of life out of this Iowa State defense, especially in the back end, an area which they pride themselves so much in is how well they play with Cotton Moya and Wiltz, Brian Peavy, and those guys in the back end have given up a lot of plays to Shelton Gibson and Karan White before he went out with an injury.
Petaway, who has emerged because of necessity because of the injury to Justin Crawford, injured himself very early in this game. A loss of 1. Petaway, his first career touchdown not long ago. First action all season coming here. Howard on 2nd and 11 to pass. Zips it complete down to the 5. This time finding Da'Keel Shorts Jr. his second catch in the game.
Well, a nice little banana route. Again, he starts on the inside, pushes it right to the inside part of the hash mark, and then kind of bananas back out to there it is right there. So hard for a defender with inside leverage like that, and the speed of Da'Keel Shorts and the precise route running. And once again, Skyler Howard, very accurate throwing the ball downfield.
Pass play of 25 yards, 1st and goal from the 5. Petaway trying to dance through a tackle. Take a look at the longest active streak in the FBS of at least 20 first downs. West Virginia's met that mark now for the 13th straight time. Washington State was the previous active leader, but losing yesterday in the Apple Cup. Dominating win by University of Washington. Second and goal, Petaway. They bootleg. Howard throwing. Touchdown, West Virginia. Trevon Wesco is able to reach up high, pulled it in. And that is the 5th passing touchdown from Skyler Howard.
Well, just a nice little swap boot. They get Wesco going up the field, out cutting as well. You got Elijah Wellman coming from across the backside of the formation as your secondary outlet, but he wasn't needed as well because Wesco got himself open. And Skyler Howard once again accurate, throwing on the run.
West Virginia has come to Ames, and they've dropped 49 points. Wesco, his first catch, his first score of the season, 49-19. Time to get you caught up as to what's going on here tonight from Ames. Jacob Park has been on every snap in one of his 2 quarterback systems. Over 300 yards, a career high, but no touchdown passes. How about Martell Petaway, his coming out party? First carries of the season because of the injury to Justin Crawford. All he has done is carve up this defense. Meanwhile, Skyler Howard having himself a day, 330 yards, 5 scores, including 2 to Shelton Gibson, 71 yards, and a much more humble 41 yards. This one right here. And then speaking of some unknowns, just finding Wesco, his first touchdown, his first catch of the season from 6 yards out, and it has meant a lot of push-ups for the Mountaineers here in Ames.
Feel the burn, push through. You can do it. That's a lot of push-ups. A lot.
Didn't look like they were going all the way down.
Oh, well, stop being so critical.
There's Harger once again. Ever since Nwangu brought it back 97 yards for a score, they have not kicked it deep. Now some conflicting reports by those on the field. We'll see who comes up with it. Iowa State maintains. Three Iowa State turnovers today have led directly to 21 points for West Virginia.
What a tremendous job of just stripping that ball out. Iowa State once again lucky to fall on it and not commit their 4th turnover of the day.
First and 10 from the 34. They give to Montgomery. Trying to feel his way forward out towards the 40. Now, for those of you tuning in for the UFC Fight Night preview show, we'll get you there immediately after the conclusion of our game here in Iowa. In the meantime, if you're looking for that show, it's available on FS2 and streaming live on FS Go. A pickup of 5, second and 5 under 10 to play. Lazard, who's had a 4-catch, 100-yard effort so far this evening in motion. With time, a high throw to Lazard. He can't hold on, tight covered once again, as it has just been one pass breakup after another. Maurice Fleming this time.
You know, let me just show you a little something about what makes these corners so good and this secondary so good. They're allowed to route progress, come off their coverage, and jump routes just like that. They want those 6 guys, that 3-3 front, to disrupt everything up front, and then they allow their corners with film study and preparation to jump routes and be aggressive and try to pick off passes.
Montgomery picks up a first down, is hit hard. Justin Arndt comes in. Noble Wachuku following the play as well, but a first down. Getting back to your point, Now 10 passes broken up by the secondary of West Virginia.
Well, and you can see why. That they have such a great understanding, and that's a hard thing to do in college football with the time commitments, with practice, and to watch film. Such a good job by Tony Gibson and his defensive staff to educate these guys on what they're going to see from a route progression and from a route tree with the opposing teams, to allow their corners to jump routes, to be aggressive, to play with instinct. And that's the key as to why West Virginia's back end is so good.
A check down good for 9 to Montgomery. Brings up second and short, but a whistle. The makings of the best season for Dana Holgorsen since joining the Big 12.
36-yard line. The line to gain is the 35. It's second down.
Second and 1. Now in his 6th season, West Virginia getting to a bowl game 4 of the first 5 years under Holgorsen. With 1 yard to gain, they give it to Montgomery, picks up the first down. I think if you are Iowa State here, certainly that there was hope for a 3-game winning streak to end the season. That would have been their first 3-game winning streak since 1989, a chance to knock off a ranked opponent for the first time since 2012. But even with the score as it is, there are probably many around Ames who are hopeful for next season. A first year under Matt Campbell after coming over from Toledo. Park stepping up, and he steps right into trouble. He gets leveled by Darian Howard. It's a loss of 3.
Well, and I agree with you that there was so much hope and optimism when he was hired from Toledo, and that kind of hit a little bit of a trough at the beginning of the year because they didn't start off very good. It wasn't very clean. Fans didn't understand what this offense was supposed to look like, and then as the season's gone on, you start hearing the same message from the coach to the players and the media, and then you start seeing some of that production, that success on the field. Everybody's truly believing in what he's saying. See Jacob Park just very animated trying to get the play again. This is the 4th time now this game. There a lot of communication issues for Iowa State.
Yeah, you're right. Twice in the first half, second time in the second half. Clock stopped at 7:23 to play. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. 4th quarter here from Ames inside Jack Trice Stadium. Dana Holgorsen of the Mountaineers, number 18 team of the country, coming in dropping 49 points. 2nd and 13. Park gets rid of it to the 30 and met right away. Nothing after the catch. This time finding Deshaunte Jones, his 5th catch of the game. We were talking earlier about some optimism for the Cyclones team that will end the season 3-9. Think about where they began. The opener, they lose to Northern Iowa by 5 points, then get absolutely throttled by, at the time, number 16 Iowa. Weren't even competitive. A loss then at TCU before their first win against San Jose State. Winners of back-to-back games now for the first time since 2013. High throw, interception. Right through the hands of his intended target. And Rasul Douglas now with his 8th interception on the season. Tavares McFadden of Florida State leading the nation with 8 entering today.
Well, it's just a high velocity throw. Not only a little high and away from Marchie Murdoch, but also just a lot of zip on that short throw. Couldn't come down with it. 4 turnovers now for Iowa State. And we've seen a number of throws like that from Jacob Park where it's just been a little bit too high. I understand that when you're going to throw into double coverage with Alan Lazard, you got to throw that ball up. But too many times today where he's been errant, overthrowing receivers, that's always dangerous. The tip drill comes into play as a defensive back, and that's what happened there for West Virginia.
And with under 7 to play and a blowout, Chris Chugunov, the freshman out of New Jersey, is in the game at quarterback. And why not hand a Petaway? Chugunov just 1 for 3 on the season. A redshirt freshman enrolled early at West Virginia. What a day for Skylar Howard.
Well, what's the one thing that Dana Holgorsen said to us about Chris Chugunov? Like, he's not going to run. he is a pocket passer. He is not going to run. So I don't expect any sort of quarterback run game with him. It's going to be all Martell Petaway from here on out.
That's exactly what happens here. Petaway smothered. What a day offensively for this West Virginia team. Of course, they churned up yard after yard last week in a loss to Oklahoma, 579, and they have topped 600 total yards here today in Iowa.
Well, at least they have the points this time to show for it. I mean, this has kind of been the theme throughout the whole season. It's a lot of yardage, not a lot of points. That came up again last week. Talked about the 2 fumbles inside the 5-yard line. Could have been a huge difference maker in the game. But at least this time, they have all the requisite yardage to match the points. Very efficient, not only running the football, but also throwing for big plays.
We take a look at the night from Petaway. Did not have a carry entering today. Justin Crawford, who had averaged 8 yards a carry, one of the best in the nation in that category, injured early. It opened the door for Petaway, and has he ever capitalized? Petaway, 28 carries, $179, and his first career touchdown.
Well, and what's impressive to me is he's 4th on the depth chart, yet he comes in and there's no hesitation. There's no bright light situation. He just steps up and continues to do what every running back in that room does, and that's produce. So what a tremendous opportunity that he had tonight, and he took advantage of it and capitalized on it.
Along those lines, talking about production from the running back position, he becomes the 4th running back this year to run for 100 yards. 4th different running back to hit the century mark in a game for Dana Holgorsen this season. Of course, Russell Shell, just 1 carry now over the last 4 games, out today because of the ankle injury. We saw Kennedy McCoy earlier. In fact, he had a 3-yard touchdown run, but we have not seen McCoy really since. He was injured on the first offensive play last week against Oklahoma, an ankle injury. And for Dana Holgorsen, he has just continued to have a depth chart of running backs that have produced. And of course, the injury today to Justin Crawford, who entered just 70 yards shy of 1,000 on the season, but only 7 carries early in the first quarter before being hurt.
Well, it's not hard if you're Petaway to be in that room and watch the likes of Crawford and Shell and even McCoy to a certain extent be productive throughout the season. Just by watching those guys run, you're going to become a better runner.
Chugunov airing it out deep into the end zone, and he overthrows Marcus Sims, who had the 48-yard touchdown grab earlier.
Chugunov showing that big arm.
Now, no mercy with 49-19.
Not at all. Kind of a suspect call there when it's 49-19 to chuck it down the field and hope for another big explosive play offensively. But this offense, just on that one pass play, if that's the type of arm that Chugunov has, you're going to lose Skylar Howard, a senior this year. Quite possibly, if Chugunov can show that sort of big arm and some accuracy that Skylar Howard has, then this offense is not going to miss a break anything next season.
Called for at the 9 by Ryan. Will step aside, 3:11 left to play.
This is some tight coverage. I think he is hands down the guy that's going to win the Heisman amongst those talented group of players.
This is Nwangu on the carry.
as we take a look at Lamar Jackson's numbers this year. 30 pass touchdowns, and today came in with 19 rushing touchdowns, added 2 more today. You look at those numbers, and I don't know how you can't just give him the bronze.
And it's incredible, the production. Nwangu, who coming off his season best 44 yards rushing after missing 4 straight games, picks up another first down. Brought down by Reese Donahue. How about the 2020 club? The ones in yellow, of course, won the Heisman. Tebow, Newton, Johnny Football as well. 20 passing touchdowns, 20 rushing touchdowns in one season.
Well, I think that just supports why I think you just hand him the Heisman. All those 3 guys all won the Heisman, and now that they're in a Power 5 conference, I don't see how you can't just look at those numbers, compare them historically to everybody else, and say, listen, everybody, Jabril Peppers is a fantastic all-around player, but it's hard to compete against those numbers and the competition that he played against.
2nd and 11, approaching the 2-minute mark. This one has been all West Virginia, although Iowa State had it close. Of course, we've been seeing Nwangu now as a running back. He had the electrifying 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. As this time Chandler is able to adjust and make the catch. Just his 4th catch all year. This one good for 22.
We saw Chandler early in the game on a 3rd and long situation, just kind of be the outlet pass. Couldn't come down with it, but they used him up the middle of the seam on a vertical route. He was able to come down. Again, not a pass-catching tight end, but needed his hands in this situation.
This time it's Harger lined up in the backfield. Will walk on with just 15 carries all year. They hand to Harger. Of course, today one of the storylines for Iowa State, Senior Day, 24 seniors being celebrated before the game. What's that like for those guys, Ben?
Well, it's special. I mean, it's one of those things when I look back at my career at Kansas State is you think about that game and you want everything to slow down just a little bit. You want to come out of the tunnel and you actually want to smell the atmosphere a little bit more, appreciate the crowd a little bit more, and you're seeing the play calling right here. Justin Chandler, a senior, not going to make a difference points-wise in this game, but give him the ball a little bit. You got Harder in the backfield. He got the last carry.
Park throws a heater, and it's caught this time by Carson Epps, a sophomore. Just 3 catches over the last 5 games. This one good for 11. Now, certainly a disappointing Senior Day in terms of the scoreboard for Iowa State, as West Virginia is on its way to its best season since joining the Big 12. Harger on the ground once more. This will be the first time with 6 conference wins since joining the Big 12 in 2012. The first 9-win season as well for Dana Holgorsen since coming over to the Big 12. So for a team that did not have great expectations entering this season, as this is deflected, nearly intercepted.
Well, and we think about West Virginia with Dana Holgorsen. Offensively, they're so dangerous, but you look at the last couple years, especially this year, they're winning with defense as well. Tony Gibson, defensive coordinator, up for the Broyles Award, which is given out to the best assistant coach in the country. And you can understand why, where he's putting together a tremendously aggressive front 6, front 7, and a ball hawking secondary.
Inside the 10. Well, that's how this one comes to a close, as Dana Holgorsen of West Virginia end up routing Iowa State on Senior Day 49-19, and a coming out party offensively by Martell Pettaway, who gets nearly 200 yards today, and Skyler Howard, the senior out of Fort Worth, with 5 touchdown passes over 300 yards. Our final score, 49-19. Right now, we'll get you